communities as needed. We'll be speaking with Governor Kehoe live this morning at about 7:05. Plans for a data center in Warrenton are moving forward. The proposal calls for 2 large buildings along Interstate 70, both about 800,000 square feet. The Warrenton Board of Aldermen is requiring the data center, though, to meet certain conditions to limit some of the residents' environmental concerns. Those include the data center having to limit noise and also dim the lights when they're not in use. 2 pit bulls have been declared dangerous by the city of St. Peters after attacking the neighbor's dog. This happened last week at Stacy Hussman's home. She says her golden lab was in the backyard and the pit bulls had jumped the fence. The lab's vet bill totaled more than $1,000. According to the city, the same 2 dogs were involved in another unprovoked attack last year. The owners have until February 4th to complete certain requirements in order to get their dogs back. One of those requirements includes putting in a 6-foot fence. All right, in sports tonight, Blues play the Stars around the road. That game starting at 7 o'clock. SLU takes on St. Bonaventure today at 4:30. Tomorrow, Mizzou plays Oklahoma and Illinois faces Purdue. 21 degrees now as we're coming up on 5:05. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
We continue to have a winter storm warning in effect, but not until Saturday night into late Sunday. Today is a dry day. A mix of clouds and sunshine, windy, and boy, it's cold out the door. It's cold all day long. 14 for the high. Tonight, clouds take over. It's dry tonight and very cold. 4 on Saturday. Periods of snow, especially developing as we go through the afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All right, our time is 5:05, 21 degrees the temperature downtown at the Arch. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any of our other shows here on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Hey, good morning to you. Welcome in. It is a Friday morning. We made it. It is the 22nd. Is it the 23rd, isn't it, of January? Wow. The week slipped by on me. How about that? Kim St. Ange back in studio with us this morning. And Kim, Stuart McMillan filled in for you yesterday, and he did a great job.
Good. Yeah, thank you to Stuart for that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I thanked him again after the show. I thought he absolutely did a fine job yesterday, and I told him we'd have him back at some point, maybe down the road. And people seemed to enjoy him when he was on here. So
that's great.
By the way, if you're watching on the feeds this morning, I know I'll see a few names popping up here in a minute who always join us right at the top of the show. The shirt that I'm wearing today is in honor of Jack Smith, because it is my opinion that there was fraud committed in the 2020 election, which is why I bought this T-shirt to begin with, because it outlines the fraud. You see where the extra votes came in for Joe Biden after the fact. They're very late in the game. And I am entitled under the First Amendment to have that opinion. And I believe I can back that opinion up with a number of different facts that occurred that day. But regardless of how I reach that opinion, I have the constitutional right to have that opinion. And yesterday you heard a man stand in front of Congress and lie and claim the president of the United States, the current president, was somehow stripped of those constitutional rights when the events around January 6th happened. That he somehow took bad information and tried to steal an election. And it was absolute garbage. And a couple of congresspeople, Darrell Issa, Jim Jordan, Brandon Gill, among them, absolutely chewed this guy up and spit him out yesterday. And I loved watching it. I couldn't stop watching it. It was an amazing thing.
Jim Jordan's was good, the back and forth. The whole thing, the direct question, I forget who asked it, but they were saying, did the Biden administration in any way incentivize you more or less to go after Trump. Oh, no, no, no. Do you believe that?
Of course I don't believe it. And I don't believe that I don't believe that Jack Smith was ever officially sworn into the office. And one of the reasons the thing got kicked out is because of questions about what his legal role was in that position. He was trying to persecute someone for believing that there was fraud in the 2020 election. They tried to jail a president of the United States over that, and separately, they wanted to jail him because he had documents at his house in Mar-a-Lago. Remember the raid? That a president, and only a president, is allowed to have. They were in negotiations to return some of them to the archives. Joe Biden, on the other hand, as a vice president, was not ever capable or allowed legally to have those documents, but he kept them in his garage in boxes by his Corvette in an unsecured location. And nothing happened to Joe Biden because he was mentally incompetent, remember, and we couldn't hold him responsible for those things. He could still be president of the United States. He could still issue blanket pardons to Hunter Biden and Fauci and all of these criminals, in my opinion. But he couldn't be held responsible for having those. But by God, we're going to hold Trump responsible for it. Jack Smith was a fraud. He had TDS, and he was doing the bidding of Merrick Garland and the people in the Biden administration. It was just so obvious watching it. And I'm sorry I'm fired up, but right before I walked in the door, I was in there cutting some audio from Daryl Issa that I'm going to play for you this morning. And when you listen to it, you're just going to shake your head and ask yourself, how did this guy get away with this? How did we allow this to happen? And why was the media the media was complicit in it? The whole thing. The mainstream media in this country was absolutely complicit in this. And I'll make the case for you throughout the morning if you missed it. We've got the information here for you. But anyway, Kim said my prayers yesterday once again to my Savior, my Lord and Savior, that He has helped guide my life to this radio studio this morning. What all the different gains and or mistakes I made in my life led me to this job that I'm lucky enough to have. And therefore, what I'm not doing this morning is standing on the Tam Avenue overpass or in front of a pile of salt telling you not to go outside because it's just too dangerous.
Well, and even if you have a Saturday off, you're probably going to be called in. That's just how it works.
Wait. Bring your pets inside. I'm looking at Snooze Channel 5 right now. These are the tips up on the screen. Bring your pets inside. Make sure your gas tank is full. Make sure you have a blanket and some water in the back of your car.
You know how many times I went and talked to an auto shop and did the live shot where you open up the trunk and you showed the different items you're supposed to have in there?
Yeah.
Have spare water bottles. Have a blanket.
Did you grow up in the Midwest? Now, I tell you what, there may be one or two people in the audience who just moved here from like Hawaii, where they've never seen snowfall except on the top of Mount Kilimanjaro or Kilauea or whatever the hell the mountain is over there in Hawaii. Maybe those people need to be warned that in January it can get very cold and white stuff falls out of the sky. But the fact that you would commit an entire newscast to it, let the meteorologist tell us what's going to happen. And speaking of which, aren't we talking to our friend Dave Murray this morning?
8:35.
8:35. We are going to be talking to our friend David Murray, the meteorologist. I'm just going to say something. I have no idea what Dave Murray's politics are, but we couldn't have a more conservative meteorologist as the official meteorologist of 97.1. Not for his politics, but for how he forecasts the weather. While everybody else has been giving you snow totals for 5 days now, Dave Murray has refused to do that. Until like late last night, he refused to put out a forecast that had any snow totals in it. Because that's how they drive you to local news coverage. They know that's what everybody wants to know. How much snow am I going to get? How long is it going to last? So they all throw numbers out there to get you to tune into their TV station to hear their meteorologist. Dave Murray, he never did it when he worked here, and he's stuck to that all these years. He wants to wait till the storm is closer to make those kind of predictions. He's admitted we're going to get accumulating snow, and we're going to hear his forecast, the official Dave Murray forecast this morning at about 8:35.
I'm not ready
that.
for this, and I am really sad this is happening. It's falling on when Jimmy Fallon's coming in, and there's no official word on that yet. But
I think that's important to say. People have been reaching out to me.
Yeah.
What about Jimmy? What are they going to do about Jimmy Fallon? I'm like, well, we emailed them, and they said they'd get back to us if there were going to be any changes. So, I mean, I know where I'll be at about 7 o'clock on Saturday night. I'm going to be at the factory unless they change things. I don't know how many other people would show up if there truly are 8 or 9 inches of snow by then. That would obviously have an impact on the number of people who could make it. Like I have friends who live in Herman who are coming in for that show, and if there are 7 or 8 or 9 inches of snow, obviously it would have an impact on their decision to make that drive. So I know that's playing into people's minds. We don't have a good answer for you this morning. I'm glad Kim brought that up because we just don't know. We To our knowledge, that show is still going on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So, if we hear anything different today, pay attention to the 97.1 website. And if you get our push notifications, if you're on the Odyssey app, I'm sure we'll push out a notification if anything was to change on that. So we'll be sure and let you know. And I'm sure the folks at the factory will do the same thing if there are any changes. It's a big deal. Yeah, so much. Every day. The Greenland deal, the whining over the Greenland deal. Even now, the media, you couldn't get CNN to celebrate what just happened at Davos. Instead, they want to focus on Gavin Newsom and his pretty hair and the fact that he went over there and made a complete ass out of himself. That's the big story they think out of Davos. The story is Donald Trump, with his America First policy, secured a national security a priority for the United States 2 days ago. That's what happened. And that's all that really matters. We're going to talk more about it this morning. In fact, I'm going to wait and get to the top stories here until after the break because I've been a little long-winded this morning. That rarely ever happens. But we'll get to that coming up. And first, let's get to our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Oh, he's so awesome. Happy Friday, everyone. We look good on the roads. And the snow, of course, that is expected, not until overnight tonight. So we're going to be fine today. That is what I'm telling myself. And at this hour, we do look good. lighter traffic in general on a Friday. But things are even fine out west on eastbound 70 at Wright City, Forestdale. Things are moving through there. We're quiet on the bridges downtown and look good, really, on both the Missouri and Illinois sides at this hour. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Taking care of your health should be simple. And with the Neovitin monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitin.com and start your subscription today. Neovitin, trusted nutrition every day.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
At Grasser Home Services, we're looking for happy plumbers to join our team. Plumbers who are polite, honest, and do the job right.
And love dogs. They must love dogs.
Plumbers who treat customers' homes with respect, care about the details, and show up on time.
Know a happy plumber who's great with dogs?
Have them call Grasser Home Services.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
And Mr. Smith, do you believe that President Trump's Department of Justice will find some way to indict you?
I believe that they will do everything in their power to do that because they've been ordered to by the president.
Poor little Jack Smith. Can everyone feel bad for him? The man who was assigned by Merrick Garland and Joe Biden to come in and have a free hand at prosecuting and you know, you show me the man, I'll show you the crime kind of approach to prosecution, is now afraid the same thing might happen to him, except he violated the Constitution, in my opinion, with what he did, and Donald Trump did not.
He's got to get President Trump. He's got to stop President Trump from running, tie him up in court. He's got to get to trial, or at a minimum, insert an 165-page political document into the presidential campaign. It was always about politics.
Yep. Jim Jordan yesterday in that hearing with Jack Smith, he tore it up. So did Darrell Issa. I'm going to play some more of that for you a little later.
That it's not what ICE is doing in Minneapolis, it's what Minneapolis authorities are doing to prevent ICE from doing their job.
Yep. J.D. Vance, boy, he ripped him a new one yesterday in Minneapolis. Of course, the story of the day with the mainstream media was the lie spread by the nose ring mafia that a 5-year-old kid had been arrested by ICE, when in reality, the kid's illegal alien father abandoned him, and ICE had to take him into custody to keep him from being left all alone.
Last year, under his leadership, NATO collectively reached that famous 2%, which we agreed 10 years ago. I asked the room, I said, big countries like Spain and Italy and Belgium and Canada reaching that 2%, would it have ever happened if President Trump would not have been reelected? No.
No. Mark Rutte there, the head of NATO, saying, hey, you got to give Donald Trump credit. He knows how to get NATO countries, European socialist democracies to snap to. That's what's happened here. It happened before, and Donald Trump realizes when you've got this bunch of lazy socialists, because that's what a lot of them have become. The U.S. support of NATO for all those years allowed them to redirect their resources into their beloved social programs where people can retire at 55 years old and not work for the rest of their life and live off the government. We subsidize that. Donald Trump came in and said, if you don't start paying your fair share for NATO, why would we keep paying it? And boy, did they all snap to. Suddenly they're paying 5%. Donald Trump sees the Arctic risk. He goes in, he goes, you need to spend more money in the Arctic. We're doing just fine. Trump says, okay, well, I need Greenland. Oh, my God, you can't do that. They're all up in an uproar over there, right? And what is the result of that? Suddenly, NATO agrees to let the U.S. put extra military bases in there and to redirect some money toward the defense of Greenland. It's a win. It's what you need to do to socialists. You have to snap them into reality. They pray at the altar of government. That's what happened here. I got people saying, there's no deal in Greenland. Trump didn't do anything. Of course he did. He got exactly what he was after all along. And the idiots in the media and his enemies, I think they see it. Maybe in some kind. I watched Bhatia Ungar Sargon on CNN yesterday with this idiot Abby Phillips. I swear to God, I don't know how CNN can possibly justify paying that woman a salary for what she does. She constantly talks over her guests. She refuses to believe anything from separate from her baseline thought process, which is minimal. And she's arguing, and Ungar Sargon says the president had a strategy here that if you just bother to read his book, everyone could understand. He makes a maximalist claim. Everybody freaks out, and in the end, he gets what he wants. He's done it on a dozen different things since he's been president. And you're too slow to pick up on it. And Abby Phillips says, oh, we have no evidence of that. We have no evidence that that's what happened. Well, of course it's what happened. It's as plain as the nose on my face, which is large, that's what happened. Trump says, we're going to take Greenland. Yeah, we'll use the military if we need to, but we need Greenland. No, can't have Greenland. And suddenly they all snap to and give him exactly what he wants, which is security guarantees keeping Russia and China out of Greenland. They wouldn't do that before. And what do you have in Canada? Do you raise your hand if you have any liberal friends on Facebook this morning or recently who shared the speech from Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada? Do you have anybody like that? Do you know anybody? I had several share this to my timeline, and I watched the speech, and what I saw was a very butthurt Canadian leader who didn't get what he wanted in his negotiations with Donald Trump, so he's going to take his toys and go home. He's going to take his maple syrup and his lumber and go sell them somewhere else. Good luck. You know what that idiot did? He went out and signed an agreement with China, our biggest geopolitical adversary in the world. Meanwhile, what's Donald Trump doing? He has an America First policy. He's trying to protect America. If Canada's too stupid to see that, they're on their own. We don't need them. Canada needs us. We don't need Canada. But we do need Greenland, and we're going to get it. And that's exactly what Trump was after. All right. We're going to get to Kim on a Whim here in a minute. And we're going to talk more about the forecast because the forecast for snow totals on my app, it says an inch or less Saturday. On Channel 4, it says 6 to 10. Who's right? I don't know. Dave Murray is going to join us later, but we're going to talk about all that and more after Kim on a Whim coming up in just a minute.
you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
Hi, I'm your kid's old jeans. I've been in the drawer for a while and really missed the playground. You should swing by Goodwill and drop me off. Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. Plus, I can get back into the game. Donate today. Tag, you're it.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, please visit Goodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Tech consulting firm Booz Allen Hamilton reports earnings today, along with oil services company SLB. Adam Johnson of the Bullseye American Ingenuity Fund is encouraged by what he's seeing in earnings season so far.
They look very good. And in fact, I would say look to the banks. Banks are always the first group that reports in any given earnings season. They've all reported. They all beat significantly. They're all showing strong growth. Credit trends, which is very important, that's a read on the economy, are very positive. In other words, people have money and they're spending. They're not over-leveraged. Companies are not over-leveraged.
The University of Michigan's final reading on consumer sentiment for January is released this morning, and S&P Global releases its manufacturing and services purchasing managers indexes for this month. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosilda. Invested in you.
New Year's resolutions sound great on January 1st, but January 10th, not so much. This year, there's one resolution worth keeping, getting your finances in order. For many people, that starts with balance, not just growth, but protection too. And that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. For over a decade, they've made it easy for investors to add gold and silver to their portfolios and reduce market risk. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com, NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making investment decisions.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. It's quiet out there on the roads and in the weather. I mean, it's cold, but right now it's quiet. So we look good. Northbound 55 is in great shape from Herculaneum into downtown. We look fine on eastbound 70 and 6440. From out west into the city, quiet through North County, and looking good on the Illinois side in general. Off to a good start here on a Friday morning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, my friends at Hanson's Tree Service are out there working hard every day, even in this cold weather, to get things cleaned up. Now, here's what you need to know. We might get an inch of snow, or we might get a foot of snow. I don't know. It depends on where you are in the listening area. Obviously, the people south are supposed to get a little more than the people north. But at the end of the day, heavy snow, if it gets on your trees, can cause limbs to break and all of that, particularly on some of those big, pine trees and stuff that are going to hold that heavy snow, they might snap off. If that happens, who are you going to call? I hope it's Hanson's Tree, because you've heard me talking about them for years and years and years, and I've used them many times over the years to remove trees and branches and all of it. They're just great at it. They can send their crews out to clean it up in a hurry for you, or they can send an arborist out to give you some advice. So call them at 636-379-1830. You end up with some damage at your second home. Let's say you've got a place at the Lake of the Ozarks. They operate down there, too. They're also in Branson, by the way, if you've got a home in Branson. So Hanson's Tree Service is there for you. No matter where you are, they will get it taken care of. Tell them Marc Cox sent you, 636-379-1830, or online at hansonstree.com.
St. Louis, laugh it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on January 24th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon January 24th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
From the gateway to the airwaves. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a whim.
A sad fact our generation has to face is this. Our kids are less cognitively capable than we were at their age. Since the late 1800s, every generation has outperformed their parents, and that's exactly what we want. We want sharper kids. And the reason for this largely has been school. Each generation spends more time in school. We use school to develop our cognition. Congratulations, you see your correlation. Gen Z is the first generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention to memory to literacy to numeracy to executive functioning to even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did. So why? What happened? What happened around 2010 that decoupled schooling from cognitive development? It can't be school. Schools basically look the same. It can't be biology. This hasn't had enough time to change. The answer appears to be the tools we are using within schools to drive that learning.
And can you guess, Mark, what said tools are?
DEI, what are they?
Technology.
Laptops.
Just the technology.
Technology. He says once schools around the world started widely accepting digital technology,
yes,
he said there was a clear indication that performance declined. He's like, it's not that the technology is not being used well enough. It's not that there's not enough training on it or they don't have enough good programs. He says we evolved biologically to learn from other humans, not screens. And this comes as many school districts across the St. Louis area could be looking at a day next week of remote learning, right? Where the kids put in front of the screen to avoid having to use a snow day, which I get. But, you know, you're having some 6-year-old sit in front of a screen for 6 hours a day and actually stare at it and pay attention. Yeah, right. This is a guy, by the way, who was a teacher, and he became some neuroscientist who studies all this, and he was testifying in front of a Senate committee. And he said that kids who use computers 5 hours per day for learning, he says will score over 2/3 of a standard deviation less than those who rarely or never use technology in schools. And that's the trend across 80 countries, so it's not just the United States.
I think it's a fascinating timeline he set up to claim that this decline didn't happen till 2010. I think it's been going on a lot longer than that. In fact, test scores and performances across the country have been falling since Jimmy Carter created the Department of Education back in 1980. When our parents were growing up, they were in high school. Latin was required in a lot of schools. These days, in many cases, they're not even required to learn a second language. Some are if you're in a college prep course, but They have let so many standards fall through the years of what is required, sticking to standards just to kind of push people through the system. I think that's played a huge role in it, too.
You're probably right. And his point, too, is that we're redefining comprehension, like, for example, reading comprehension around the tools we use. And the example he gave for that was the former test on reading comprehension involved 750 words. And with those 750 words, the kids would be given, say, 10 to 12 questions on them of, okay, how do you understand this particular sentence or sentences, right? And that's been reduced to a single sentence, he says, of 75 words. That's a very long sentence.
What?
And just one question. So his point is they're trying to make it where it's almost like you're skimming, because when you're looking on a computer, you're not really reading usually, you're skimming. Does that make sense?
It does. When you reduce standards, you reduce the outcome. If whether it's at work, whether it's in politics, whether it's in reading, writing, and arithmetic, when you reduce standards, you reduce the outcome. Honestly, ask your medical doctor where they graduated in their class.
The Learning
Center? There's a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them out there these days, thanks to reduced standards that shouldn't be in the positions they're in, and you trust your health to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's honest. Across professions, but the ones I would be most worried about at this point are pilots and brain surgeons.
Yeah, we're worried about hurting someone's feelings, so we're lowering the standards to make everyone feel warm and fuzzy and giving them a participation trophy and saying, way to go, you got it. Yeah, you did it. And no, you didn't. You failed. You got an F. You need to take the class again. I don't care. I'm sorry it's embarrassing for you, which it would be having to redo a grade level. I get it. But sometimes people need to do that.
Well,
it's basic skills that these kids don't know. Like you said, they're lowering the standards, and it's very problematic.
Kim, yesterday, when you were off, one of the stories that we talked about for in other news, in fact, I think originally you had sent me part of that list, was that the governor in New Jersey is about to mandate that they teach cursive again in New Jersey schools as one of his final acts. And there's nothing Phil Murray's ever done in his political career that I've agreed with until now. I just want to tell you that. That guy's a left-wing loon, but he's going to require that the schools bring back cursive starting next fall. What are these kids going to do? Some of them can't spell. They've used a computer their entire lives. Handwriting anything. Could you imagine if they had to do a term paper like we used to have to do when you had to handwrite it and double space it and go to the library and check the encyclopedia and all that stuff?
Would kids these days even know how to do that? To go to the library and actually check a book out and have to do the research? I remember research papers and having 10 books spread out across my table and flipping through all the pages and trying to get my information that way. And how annoying it was to source all of that, to keep track of all of it. And now you just ask ChatGPT. I mean, that's the other factor. As much as I love this technology, we're going to forget how to have basic interactions with people. And it seems like when you go to the grocery store or a fast food restaurant that some people have already forgotten that, because you pull up or you walk up to the cashier and no one even says anything. And it's almost like they don't even have the social skills to say, hi, how are you?
They also don't have the math skills that if the computer goes down, that they could count your change back to you.
That I would not be the best at. I am not even going to make fun of them for that. I would embarrass myself, I'll put it that way.
I worked a cash register, and I know how that goes, right? You got to be able to count back money in people's hands. And kids today are lost. They've given up so many of these skills. And you're like, well, everybody uses a credit card. Well, not everybody. Not everybody.
See,
I pull out a $100 bill and hand it to you. You should be able to give my change back. If my bill's $37.15, you should be able to count that back to me.
I would be in favor of getting rid of some of the really dumb classes that are not necessary, that most people don't ever use. I'm trying to think of an example of, I hated geometry. I'm not saying geometry is what we should get rid of. I'm just saying that if you're taking something in college for your major that you need that for, obviously you need to take it. But there are plenty of people who don't really use certain things. And why don't we replace a class that I don't think is that useful for the vast majority of people? You'll just forget it the minute you are done with the class. And let's replace it with financial planning. Let's replace it with a class on budgeting. Let's replace it with
home ec.
Home ec. Why did Oh,
yeah,
they do?
it's called something else now. But
Okay, well, do they actually teach good
Facts
skills?
or something like that? Yeah.
Or do they say this is how you Google a recipe and then this is how you... We're just going to have robots cooking all our food in like 10 years. In fact, Elon Musk was talking about like, what do they call them, humanoids or something like that? Wasn't he saying something like that? That's coming? Like in 10 years, that's what's going to happen? They already have those creepy robots that play sports, and people pay to see them play sports.
But again, it all gets down to the fact that there was a time in this country when high school graduates had more skills than the kids were turning out of college. That's been the case for years because the standards used to be so much higher. And now kids are turning in papers in college that were probably written by ChatGPT and then altered slightly, and the professors have to spend most of their time trying to use their electronic tools to determine whether or not what they were just handed was created by artificial intelligence.
Well, and that's just it. They have all these programs that are supposed to be able to detect if artificial intelligence was used. But you're right, Mark. If someone goes and alters enough words, would they really be able to detect that? Because that would save a lot of time if AI wrote my paper and then I just had to go in and every 4 words or something, even though it'd be tedious, just change a word here or there, and then it would basically skate right past the program.
That's what they do.
I'm sure they do that
from
because
doing a 10-hour paper to
my
a
friend,
I was the one who would wait till the last night and I'd be up
know,
till like
right?
3 in the morning.
My friend who's a
writing
teacher, told me that sometimes it's really easy to tell because you got a kid that you've seen the paragraphs they've turned in and they were pathetic, and then suddenly it turns around overnight and they're producing grammatically correct paragraphs that make sense, and he knows immediately what's happened. Either it used to be you'd worry that the parent wrote it, and these days it's probably AI.
Well, but kids are learning this technology at such a young age. You go and look at a 4-year-old use a phone and it'll blow your mind. So they know how to use it from the gate versus, even the Gen Zers, they might not have had this accessible to them until the last few years. So you could tell if someone couldn't even spell a word and then all of a sudden they're using really big vocabulary. But nowadays they could start from right out of the gate, they could start using AI, and then you would never really know how they actually write. Their style is what AI comes up with.
They, them.
There may be a furry, who knows? You can be whatever you want to be.
More evidence that our focus is wildly distracted from the important things these days when you have to even think about the fact that there's a debate over pronouns in schools and men using women's bathrooms and participating on men's sports teams. It's the dumbing down of America. It's been going on for years, way before 2010. But I would agree that the technology certainly has not helped slow that down at all. It hasn't. All right, coming up, is it going to snow or not? We're going to just point out to you the wildly dramatic difference in some of these forecasts, and knowing all the time that we do have Dave Murray on this morning in the 8 o'clock hour, just so you know that. We'll be right back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. You know what? We look fine on the roads. It's a typical Friday morning, except the temperature is falling. So if you are just headed out, things look great. Northbound 55, no problems. Eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44, all in good shape at this hour. We're really quiet on the Illinois side as well, and things look good on the bridges downtown. So we're off to a good start. If something comes up, I will let you know. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Yeah, love my friends at Grasser Electric. They're just great. They've been longtime supporters of this radio station, and we just appreciate that. It's just a matter of a company that does things the right way. Like if you listen to those great ads that they've got out right now, right? I mean, they're fantastic. The little boy that's in there, his name is Barrett, by the way, the one you hear on the ads they're doing these days, cute as a button, but it's true. Like they're using family in the ad and talking about their values and what's important to them, and then it just tells you something about the company. If you're going to hire a company to come into your home and trust them, you want to hire a company like Grasser Electric. And, they've got the saying these days, the green is always grasser. It's a good play on the G there, but it's true. There is a difference in who you hire and bring into your home, and I hope you'll consider Grasser Electric when it comes to taking care of all of your needs. If heaven forbid the snow makes a tree limb fall and knock the power line off the side of your house, you need to know who to get a hold of, and that is my friends at Grasser Electric, 636-441-5200. Just put the number in your phone, because if the electric's out, it's going to be hard to get on the internet and go to the website. But that's easy too. It's grasserelectric.com, and you can get to them that way or by phone. Just keep it handy in case you need it in the case of an emergency. You'll love them. grasserelectric.com.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Marc Cox, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
It might snow 1 to 78 inches on Saturday. That is all. Thank you. Thank you for your attention to that. I play that Ron Burgundy drop all the time, but it highlights what the news media does to you. They try to scare the living hell out of you because they know it draws viewers. They have used weather for that purpose for many, many years now, and it's fine. We all want to know in advance, like they have a crystal ball to tell them how much snow we're going to get.
Yeah, they'll say when you're planning a winter storm coverage event, they'll say weather is the number one driver for news stations.
Of course.
That's what they say.
Of course it is. And I bring that up because Susan Thomas gets on the mic here this morning as the show started. We got her on here. We're talking to her off the air. And she's like, how much snow are we going to get? Because my app is showing less than an inch Saturday. And I'm like, that can't be right. So what do? I get on I have the Weather Channel app on my phone. And I get on it here for the Weather Channel. And here's what it says for Saturday, the 24th. Cloudy with light snow developing during the afternoon. Record low temperatures, potential. High of 11 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. 50% chance of snow. Snowfall around 1 inch. This is what my app on the Weather Channel says. And for Sunday, it says snow during the morning will become lighter during the afternoon. Chance of snow 90%. Snow accumulating 1 to 3 inches.
And I hear
this
everywhere,
is my Weather Channel app right now.
6 to 8 is what I've been hearing on the news stations.
If you go to to Channel 4, front page, Channel 4, their forecast is 5 to 10 inches across the bulk of the St. Louis area, like immediate from Bowling Green down to Festus, from north to south, from Washington to Centralia, they're showing on here. That whole area is a swath of blue that says 5 to 10 inches plus are going to fall in that area. And below that, like if you're south of Sullivan in Steelville or Farmington or some Bonne-Terre or somewhere down there, they're saying 7 to 12 inches plus. Now, our official meteorologist is Dave Murray, who's going to be joining us this morning about 8:35. And I got to give the guy credit because this is what he says in this thing as you're looking at it. He is not going to go there. Dave Murray will just not go there. He said, I know everybody wants numbers, but it's still too early. Even yesterday, he was saying that he believes we will get some accumulation, but he stopped short of putting big numbers on it because forever Murray has been saying that you got to judge this thing once it gets past the mountains. So snow forecasting is really tough. He admits that. Temperature matters at the surface and aloft. The amount of lift matters. The amount of moisture obviously matters. The main event is Saturday, and here's what Dave says about this. He admits the main event is Saturday. He thinks there will be accumulating snow Saturday night into Sunday morning. He's not put any numbers on it yet in the forecast I've seen. He says, I know everyone wants numbers now, but you've come to the wrong place. You can't rush a winter storm. And until it gets over the Rockies and reforms in the Texas Panhandle, we're really not going to know in terms of the moisture that's coming in, meeting this cold air from the north, what we're going to have. And he said, I know a lot of you, what you're seeing are computer and AI output. That's not forecasting. That's Dave Murray's approach to it. I never trust the computer output. Garbage in, garbage out is what he says. And I think that's important. So that's why we waited and booked 3 days ago. We booked Dave Murray for this morning because I don't think you're going to get a solid forecast on what's going to happen until this morning. And at 8:35, we'll have Dave on here to talk about that. I think it's important because all the news stations are saying 5 to 10 inches right now based on computer models. Murray's not been willing to go there yet.
And Dave's also not saying that won't happen. He's not saying that will happen. My phone, I don't have the official Weather Channel app. I just have the one that comes on your iPhone. And mine says 3 inches is what the prediction is.
Somebody going by Go Tigers on the internet here says they have the Weather Channel app, and it says 5 to 10 inches. I mean, I'm showing you mine. I'm not making it up. This is updated as of just a few seconds ago, and it still doesn't have those kind of snow totals in here. About 1 inch of snow. Now, maybe it's a crap app and I shouldn't follow it, but there's a lot of different information floating around out there, sort of like a snowflake, and we're going to get the official forecast from Dave Murray at about 8:35. So stay tuned for that. And, oh, by the way, it's winter in the Midwest. You might want to wear a coat. We'll be back in a minute.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts. But there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Graybar does that.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Millions of Americans are doing the same thing. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, getting ready for a nasty winter storm.
I'm just looking for a loaf of bread to get me through the weekend.
But that's not been easy in Dallas.
This is my 6th store I've been to today. I started out last night, but the shelves are all empty.
Texas will start to get hit tonight.
And boy, we are going to have a large-scale storm on our hands.
Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz.
From Texas all the way to the northeast. Now, I think ice is going to be the most damaging, the most deadly, the most dangerous of this entire situation. In some cases, maybe an inch of ice, but even a 1/4 inch of ice, that's going to be enough to take down power lines. Dallas, over to Little Rock, getting up towards Nashville.
It's also going to be frigid in many areas. There are 40 below zero wind chills now in Minnesota, where a day of anti-ice protest is planned. Organizers urging people to not work, not go to school, and not shop. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry praises those standing up against immigration enforcement raids he opposes.
We're seeing constitutional violations play out in real time.
Vice President Vance went to Minneapolis calling for calm and cooperation.
Working with state and local officials, we can make the worst moments of chaos much less common.
3 people have been arrested in a federal investigation into the anti-ice protest inside a St. Paul church on Sunday. The deal's done to keep TikTok operating in the U.S. The social media app's Chinese parent company has sold most of TikTok to a group of mostly American investors.
With ByteDance, the Chinese-owned company, retaining a nearly 20% stake. The arrangement settles concerns from lawmakers about Chinese influence and data collection. Congress passed a law in 2024 banning TikTok in the U.S. unless the app was sold.
Fox's Jared Halper. Now to another done deal.
Pulling out of the World Health Organization was among the executive orders signed by President Trump on his first day back in office, accusing it of mismanaging the COVID-19 pandemic and being too susceptible to political influence. Also, there's never been an American as its chief executive. That withdrawal has now been finalized.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. America's listening to Fox News.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
All right, good morning. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. 21 degrees our temperature now at 6:03. Governor Mike Kehoe has declared a state of emergency ahead of tomorrow's expected snowstorm. We'll be speaking with Governor Kehoe live this morning at about 7:05. On the Illinois side, Governor J.B. Pritzker ordered the state's emergency management agency to deploy extra resources specifically to central and southern Illinois. Plans for a data center in Warrenton are moving forward. The proposal calls for 2 large buildings along Interstate 70, both about 800,000 square feet. The Warrenton Board of Aldermen is requiring, though, that this data center meet certain conditions in order to limit some of the environmental concerns from nearby residents. So, for example, those include limiting noise and dimming the lights when they're not in use. 2 pit bulls have been declared dangerous by the city of St. Peters after attacking the neighbor's dog. This happened last week at Stacy Hussman's house. She says her golden lab was in the backyard when these 2 pit bulls had jumped the fence and attacked the dog. The lab's vet bill totaled about $1,000. Now, according to the city there, St. Peters, the same dogs were involved in another unprovoked attack last year. The owners have until February 4th to complete certain requirements in order to get those dogs back, one of which includes putting in a 6-foot fence. In sports, tonight, the Blues play the Stars at 7 o'clock, that game on the road. SLU takes on St. Bonaventure today at 4:30. Tomorrow, Mizzou plays Oklahoma. Illinois faces Purdue. 21 degrees now, our time is 6:04. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
44. Just before Big Bend. At one point, they had the 2 right lanes blocked, and it looks like they're still on the right-hand side, but it's westbound, and it's Friday, and it's pretty early, so there isn't really a delay behind it. Just watch for flashing lights in that area. Other than that, we are quiet. 70 looks good from out west into downtown. 6440 is in good shape. We look good on 55, and on the Illinois side in general, it is quiet. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they have been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. They do windows, siding, kitchens, baths, outdoor spaces, delivering quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
We continue to have a winter storm warning in effect, but not until Saturday night into late Sunday. Today is a dry day. A mix of clouds and sunshine, windy, and boy, it's cold out the door. It's cold all day long. 14 for the high. Tonight, clouds take over. It's dry tonight and very cold. 4 on Saturday. Periods of snow, especially developing as we go through the afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
6:06 right now, 21 degrees the temperature downtown at the Arch. As always, you can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show here on 97.1 FM Talk. Take us with you anytime or anywhere. Just download that free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Out in it. And yes, we did update the accumulation totals. 1 foot of snow, not out of the equation necessarily around metropolitan St. Louis, with even heavier amounts to the south. We'll do a deeper dive into this. And of course, that all
my buddy Matt Chambers just a few minutes ago. That's why I was late getting to the microphone. I was trying to grab that clip for you. So we just got done telling you that The snow expectation amounts vary wildly, but that was right out of his mouth a few minutes ago. We're going to get to our meteorologist, Dave Murray, a little later, but that's what they're talking about on
1
TV.
inch to a foot.
That's honestly, my app says accumulation's less than an inch, and Chambers is saying a foot. So I guess we'll know Saturday night.
Well, so I went to the grocery store yesterday just to get, you have to get a few of the items, not the bread and the milk, but just to make sure I had stuff for the weekend. Ethan, and I specifically did not go to Costco because I knew Costco would be crazy.
I saw pictures.
Oh, I saw pictures out of the Nashville area, and there were people lined up with carts in the parking lot just to get into the store. What did you say? Did you actually go to Costco or Sam's, Ethan?
I didn't go to. My brother went to Costco, and he said it was just out of control. I went to Schnucks, and it was as bad as when COVID first came out and everybody panic bought.
So if we only have 1 inch, people are going to feel really silly because you don't need, all the stuff that people probably bought.
I think the app is wrong. I'm not telling you I know what's going to happen. I'm just telling you the reports of snow vary wildly. My guess is it's all computer generated, and that is what Dave Murray. That's the bane of his existence. Computer models. So we'll get the real scoop from Dave coming up in a couple. I just wanted to share that because I went to the store yesterday too. I went to Schnucks, and it wasn't nearly the zoo I expected. There's plenty of bread and milk, and I'll have French toast on Saturday evening, Sunday morning. but regardless, I said to the guy when I was checking out, I'm like, hey, it's not quite as crazy as I think in here. Well, Schnucks had staffed up. They had 5 lanes staffed with people for checkout, and he thought that I was out of my mind saying it wasn't busy yet because there were only 3 people in front of me when I got in line to check out. It just didn't seem like a mad rush. Today, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, see, but that's funny.
If you didn't go yesterday, you're going to go today, and the line's going to be long.
I agree. It's just funny, though, because I always think I'm outsmarting everybody by going a day or two earlier than the last day to go, and then I realize, no, everyone else had the same thought I had.
Yeah. Definitely yesterday, it was packed.
You know how many conversations that people probably had just like that one? Every time someone walks up, well, can you believe it? This is busy, and they have to do the same thing, the same little line over and over again.
Oh, of course.
Thank you, cashiers, for dealing with all of that.
All right. Well, we're glad you're with us this morning. It is a Friday. I guess if there's anything to say about this, at least it's happening on a weekend.
Yes.
Now, before you ask, we don't have any word on any changes to the Fela show tomorrow night. We have asked them earlier if what their plans are. Maybe they're going to make the call today. If indeed that happens, we'll let you know here on the radio station, on the app. We'll push out alerts if there are any changes, so don't worry about that. We'll let you know. I'm sure the factory will do the same thing, but we haven't heard anything, and we're all scheduled to be there. I'm to introduce Jimmy on stage, so I guess depending on what Dave Murray says at the bottom of the hour here, wear the snow boots to Jimmy Fallon's concert on Saturday night.
Because here's the problem. Even if he were able to get here, he's coming from New York City. They're already saying flights are going to be impacted. So the challenge would be, okay, can he get back? Would he be stuck here in St. Louis?
Yeah. Well, I will have him over at my house, and we'll have some French toast.
Well, he'd probably love that.
think?
You're
See?
inviting
Just
all of
saying.
us, then, it sounds like. Not just Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about all of us, but maybe Jimmy Fallon's kind of a big deal. So maybe I just have him over.
Oh,
I think he just said we're not a big deal.
I see how that goes, Mark. Yeah, I get it.
He's a network television star.
I
He's
get
here
it, Mark.
all by himself.
Mark, say no more. We get
I'll
it.
go with my 4-wheel drive and pick him up and bring him to my
Ethan,
house.
you want to come over for breakfast or something?
Sure.
Mark's not invited.
Although that's
I will guarantee you
drive.
Ethan is not driving from South County to St. Charles County this weekend.
I will be nowhere near there.
Oh, boy. All right. Let's go ahead and get to our top stories this morning because, man, there is there's a lot to talk about. Let's put it that way.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
January 6th committee failed to archive or preserve its video recordings of witness interviews, deleting or destroying as many as 900 interview summaries or transcripts involving more than 1 full terabyte of digital data. I repeat, the J6th committee destroyed evidence. Let that sink in. Why would they do such a thing? I think we have a dang good idea.
I think we do, too. That is Congresswoman Harriet Hageman from the great state of Wyoming, right? She took Liz Cheney's job, thank God, because Liz Cheney was on the rotten J6 committee, where we now know that they handpicked their evidence to try to prove some plot by Donald Trump, and they threw out and destroyed all the evidence that didn't back up what they wanted to say, and they forwarded a lot of what they wanted Jack Smith to see to Jack Smith, which he admitted that he got all of that stuff from the J6 committee. She's right. We know exactly what happened there.
We're not going to be deterred in conducting the Title VIII mission, no matter what that climate is, no matter that violent rhetoric by Mayor Frey, Waltz, and others, individuals that come into churches.
They're going to crack down on what's going on up in Minnesota, and I'm glad to hear that. They got 3 of them, of the ones that kicked in the door of the church and basically went in and interrupted the church service, including that big bearded guy who personally attacked Kristi Noem with a lot of curse words and dared her to come and get him. Guess what? She did.
I do not say this lightly. In the 20th century, my country, Germany, went down this road to its bitter end. It pulled the world into a black abyss.
What unmitigated gall to be lectured by the German chancellor. You know what? The guys basically got up in front of Davos yesterday and accused Donald Trump's policies of being like the Nazis. You couldn't make this stuff up. They ought to abolish the World Economic Forum. It should have been abolished a long time ago. But this tells you what you're dealing with in parts of Europe right now.
And I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy. And I think to myself, oh, my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien. And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran.
Yeah. Again, those liberal friends, the few I have left on Facebook, because I've started challenging them more. I not that I don't on my own page here for the radio station, but on my personal Facebook page. I've got these liberal idiots out there. They have one Facebook page, so that's where they put their thoughts. And I just get on and challenge them. I'm like, you are asleep at the wheel if you don't see what's going on here. And you're part of the problem if you spread the lie yesterday that ICE abducted and arrested a 5-year-old child. They went to get his dad, who was an illegal alien criminal, and dad abandoned his own child to run from law enforcement. The 5-year-old was left alone. So can you imagine the headline if ICE went to chase the father and left the 5-year-old standing there all by himself? No, they didn't. They took the kid into protective custody so he wouldn't be left alone in a room because his scumbag dad ran from him, from the police. You can't hate the mainstream media enough.
Well, and they all put pictures up, that really adorable picture of the little 5-year-old boy with the cute little snow hat on. Yeah. I have friends who are reporters in Minnesota. And see, I opted not to say anything to them specifically, but I was like, just keep going, look past it, because it's so frustrating when you see them painting this sob story about this poor little 5-year-old boy, who's illegal alien dad, illegal immigrant, whatever you call him, abandon him. Yeah. To evade ICE agents. And if J.D. Vance had not called them out on that crap, that would still be the network news narrative on all of it. In the meantime, lies spread faster than truth, and all of these left-wing loons are spreading these lies on the internet. And, of course, their followers just gobble it right up. And if nobody goes on there and challenges them, they never know the truth. They don't want to know the truth because the truth doesn't fit their narrative that ICE is evil. It's evil to enforce immigration laws in the United States. What's going on, man? That is just absolutely insane. Hey, when we come back, I want you to hear some more of Daryl Issa's absolute takedown of Jack Smith yesterday. It was epic, and I'm going to play it for you when we come back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a typical Friday morning commute going on right now. which is to say we've got light volume. Now, there is an accident westbound 44 before Big Bend. They've got the right lanes blocked. But it's so early and it's going against rush hour that it's not creating a jam behind it. And we look good throughout the area from North County down to Jeffco. And we're quiet on the Illinois side as well. So far, so good on the roads. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
All right, so my friend Matt over at Home Shield Foundation Repairs meets a lot of our listeners, and I tell you what, he's just brags extensively about how great all of you are, and I appreciate that. Those that have reached out to him and asked him to come by and take a look at their basement. You got to trust somebody if you're going to invite him into your home, and you know that's always the question with contractors. Who do you hire? Who can you trust that is going to be in your home and respect it and take care of it and be honest with you about things? You got to be careful in the foundation business, and that's basically what Matt and I talked about in a video that's now posted up on his website at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. He said that there are big companies, conglomerates, that now own a lot of the foundation repair companies in the greater St. Louis area, and they have a sales sheet, and they often want to bundle several fixes at once when you only need one, and you're going to end up paying more than you need to get the work done. So you got to get several opinions, and Matt says that's the reason I encourage people, call me. Maybe you need a second opinion before you let somebody come in and tear up your basement floor and put in drain tiles. Maybe you didn't need that. Maybe you just needed a better sump pump. There can be, and that may not be the case, but there can be lots of examples like that. Matt's got some pretty strong opinions about sump pumps. He does. Which ones are good, which ones are inadequate, like the ones you buy at the big box stores. So if you have questions, just call my friend Matt, and he's going to answer that for you. 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. If you want to look at that video and the interview I did with him, it's posted up right there at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Get bonus golf balls and Pro Tour tickets while they last. Presented by Post Dispatch. Test big brands with Pro-Am Golf. Enjoy the Sinclair Lincoln Long Putt, Trilogy Financial Simulator, and lessons by Elevate Golf at the Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st in St. Charles. Thanks to ESPN 101, Tito's Vodka, Sun Valley Golf Course, Yingling Flight, and the BMW Championship. Special tickets at STLGolfExpo.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
St. Louis, laugh it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on January 24th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon January 24th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is St. Louis conservative.
Okay, so in the news cycle yesterday, in terms of what happened nationally that was important, I mean, the Greenland deal is developing. We still don't have all the details, but Donald Trump got what he wanted, and it's in your best interest. If you're griping about how that went down, shut the hell up. It was in your best interest. The biggest story yesterday was getting that Jack Smith character up on Capitol Hill under oath, because of course the guy went on and on about how he truly believed that Donald Trump was guilty. He believed that Donald Trump committed a crime against the United States of America. And you know why he's wrong? Here's why he's wrong, because whether you're an elected official or a regular old citizen like me, you have a right to your opinion. You have a right to believe that there was fraud in the 2020 election cycle. And I'm not alone in that. A lot of elected officials believe that. Donald Trump believed that. The reason J6 happened, just for a little history here, it's been 5 years now. Let me take you back. The reason that happened is the way that the law was written then. Now, they had to go change it because it didn't fit their narrative. But the way the law was written then, all you had to do to challenge a slate of electors coming in from a state was to have one senator and one congressman both stand up and challenge it. And that forced debate on the floor of the House. And then they would vote on it to either accept or reject it. That's in the law. That's allowed. And then it allowed the person presiding over the joint session, the vice president, to reject that slate and send it back to the state if there were questions. It's the last safeguard we have built in to prevent election fraud in this country. What happened was the Democrats used the riot on January 6th by a select handful of people to steal that election. That's what happened. I'll believe that till the day I die. But that it's my right to believe that. And if you don't agree with me, that's on you. I don't care. I don't care if you believe me or not. But I loved what Harriet Hageman pointed out yesterday with Smith, and I loved what Daryl Issa pointed out yesterday with Jack Smith. Just listen to a little bit of this exchange between Issa and this numbskull Smith. Listen.
Do you understand the Bill of Rights, that someone has the absolute right to believe something, whether it's true or not, and to advocate for something, whether it's true or not? Do you understand that in addition to your oath to the Constitution, that's one of the things the First Amendment allows for, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you know that people have a right to opine, lobby for, assert, do everything they can legally to ask for people to make different decisions, then why is it you saw criminal conduct on behalf of a president who believed he didn't win? Chairman Jordan and myself have something in common, along with a number of others here. We saw wrongdoing. And on January 6th, we voted not to confirm 2 states because they had violated the U.S. Constitution in how they selected who got ballots. And yet, you're going to come here and say, oh, I just followed the law.
Yeah, thank you. Issa summed it up so much better than I did, because he and Jordan were two of the ones, along with Josh Hawley was ready to stand up. Jason Smith was ready to stand up and challenge these things, and it all got derailed, and then they all panicked, and they just shut down the session without ever voting on any of these challenges. None of the challenges ever made it into court, even though the Constitution allowed that. And that's what should have happened on January 6th, but they saw the riot coming. They allowed it to happen, in my opinion. Issa went on, and he just kept finding Jack Smith in these lies. Listen.
As you went in to spy on these people, did you mention that you were spying on seeking records so you could find out about when conversations occurred between the U.S. Speaker of the House and the president? Did you inform the judge, or did you hold that back?
My office didn't spy on anyone.
Wait a second. The question I asked you, Mr. Smith, was pretty straightforward. Did you withhold that information from an Article III judge in the process of taking the records of the Speaker of the House?
We complied with Department.
Did you hold
Mr.
back
Chairman,
that
would you please instruct the gentleman to allow the witness to answer the question?
It's not your time. I'd like my time back.
Mr. Chairman, you have repeatedly done that in the past.
Jamie
The witness has
Raskin
the right
trying to run
answer the
interference
question.
here,
And
so
there'll be
Smith
due
doesn't
time
have to answer the question.
Would you
Listen.
please put my time back and let me finish this? Mr. Smith, I asked you a question and you were not responsive to it, and I want you to be responsive to it. Did you, whether you think it was legal or not, whether you think it was right or not, did you withhold the name of Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, when you were seeking records on Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, or Jim Jordan, the chairman of this committee?
The time of the gentleman is...
No, please give me back the time that was taken away.
Time has expired, but we're going to let the witness answer your question because it's an important question. The witness can respond.
We did not provide that information to the judge.
Boom. Boom. Jack Smith admitted when they went to the judge to tap the phone records of the Speaker of the House, they didn't tell the judge who they were spying on. That's how sneaky all of this was. And then we find out the J6 committee handpicked the evidence they sent to Smith to try to dummy up his investigation. Unbelievable.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Let's talk about the cold, baby. It's cold outside. It's single digits wind chills we're expecting, maybe below zero, the actual air temperature. What are you going to do if the furnace is not keeping up? I got the answer for you. It's Air Comfort Service. AirComfortService.com. Just ingrain that in your brain, or you may want to put this number in your phone, 314-513-0091. That's the emergency number as well for Air Comfort Service. You got to stay warm when it's this cold, and these guys are going to be out no matter the weather doing 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week emergency service, as they've always done at Air Comfort. You can count on Corey and the gang over there to get it done and to get you back in your comfort zone. So let me give you that number again, 314-513-0091. You run into problems this weekend, you can depend on Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Go online to aircomfortservice.com.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. 21 degrees now, coming up on 6:31. The Missouri Gaming Commission has rejected the NCAA's request to put limits on sports betting. The NCAA wanted a ban specifically on prop betting that was on all sports in light of the gambling scandal, including a former SLU basketball player. Prop bets allow you to bet specifically on how individual players will perform in a game. The commission voted to put the request on hold until it can look further into the impact of it. Wentzville police are investigating after a car crashed right into a Walmart. It happened around 2 o'clock this morning at the store there off Wentzville Parkway. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. In sports, tonight, the Blues playing the Stars at 7 o'clock. That game is on the road. SLU takes on St. Bonaventure. That's today at 4:30. Tomorrow, Mizzou plays Oklahoma. Illinois faces Purdue. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look good out there on the roads. Now, there's a little bit of volume northbound 55 around Bayless, headed into that work zone, but it's just moderate at this hour. Nothing too terrible. We're still quiet through North County and looking good. Eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44. Quiet on the Illinois side as well, and on the bridges downtown. Not bad. Typical Friday morning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKellyConstruction.com.
But my lips are turning blue. Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late at night.
You are my hero.
They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
I was scrolling on social media the other day and I came across a post from Lakeside Renovation and Design, which, by the way, I love looking at accounts like that show you before and afters. And it's an account that I recommend following. It's Lakeside Renovation and Design out of Chesterfield. And they had this really cool video showing this covered porch. I mean, talk about upgrading your outdoor living. Think about that on these really, really cold days that we have with snow coming tomorrow, whether it's 1 inch or 78 inches that we're going to actually get, who knows? You could actually sit there and sip your morning coffee and have those really nice, warm, cozy electric heaters so you're not feeling cold, but you get to look at all the pretty snow falling. That's just one of the many things that my friends over there at Lakeside Renovation and Design can do. But I'm telling you, this company can basically do it all. Let's say you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, a spa-like bathroom. Maybe you need roofing or you want your basement finished. They even do windows and siding. Pretty much anything you'd need inside or outside your home, Lakeside Renovation and Design can do it. This is a family-run company, supporters of this station. It's a great company. They back up their work with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Plus, what I think really sets Lakeside apart is they're not outsourcing to third parties like a lot of the companies do. All the people who work for them are in-house, so you're not having to chase down contractors and just hope that they show up on time and actually do the work. Again, Lakeside stands by their work. They've been doing this here in the St. Louis area for close to 30 years. Even if you just want some inspiration or you want to go talk to someone and ask them questions, you can go to their showroom in Chesterfield or go to lakesiderd.com. You can speak directly with the owner's daughter, Candace. It is not some bot. You get to talk directly to her, ask her any questions. Again, that's lakesiderd.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Fox News National, St. Louis Local, 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, Kim St. Ives throws this at me just as we're coming into the break here. What is the headline on Yahoo right now?
This is the top trending story right now. 5-year-old detained by ICE.
Chicken crap.
Yeah, and we know that's not true. Yahoo News, who feeds the news feeds of God knows how many newsrooms around the country, and suckers who believe every single thing they read on there, want you to believe that the headline would lead you to believe Immigrations and Customs Enforcement targeted a 5-year-old. And it took the Vice President of the United States to lay the media down yesterday. That's what he did when he was in. He's like, listen, I went back and looked at the story. You could have done this too. They conducted a raid for the kid's father, who's an illegal alien. He abandoned his child and took off running. Left the kid behind. What was ICE supposed to do if they had left the kid standing there in the street? Could you imagine the headlines? Instead, they take the kid into protective custody because his dad abandoned him, and now the Yahoo headline claims that ICE detained a 5-year-old. I mean, come on.
That's everywhere.
Come
no,
on.
it's true. And when seriously, I was saying this earlier, when you look at the websites like Yahoo or whatever else,
Yes.
HuffPost, they post this really cute picture of the boy wearing this little winter hat just to show his innocence. Like those evil ICE agents are the ones who just snatched this boy up and traumatized him forever. Well, he's probably traumatized, but it's because his dad, who's here illegally, ran and abandoned him.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll set the story straight. It's another reason you have to take all of this with a grain of salt when you see a headline like that, because it's just not true. My guess is my fifth paragraph rule applies there. Somewhere in about the fifth paragraph, they'll get around to mentioning the fact that the kid's dad ran away, but that's not the headline they needed to get you to click on that story. And it's a old rule. What's
Sorry,
wrong?
really fast. The second paragraph said, they said a 5-year-old boy wearing a blue hat, I guess, whatever that, was that the word?
Yeah.
Anyway, hat with droopy ears and carrying a Spider-Man backpack. Just the detail there is very impactful for people.
Of course it is.
Oh, he had a Spider-Man backpack on and a hat with droopy ears.
It just gets old. You have to report on it, but it just gets old.
They said he
That's
was
for
used
sure.
as bait, by the way.
Yeah.
That's how they paint it.
Yeah. Hey, we got your son. You better come back. Was that what they're saying happened?
More or less.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's how they played it. All right, let's get to Nicole Murray, please. Good morning, Nicole. How are you?
Good morning.
So
Friday.
What are you expecting on your Saturday, Sunday up there in Jersey?
I think we could get as much as like 18 inches of snow from what I'm seeing.
God.
Yeah.
18?
Yeah. Yep. So we're trying to figure out logistics just because we're on the air no matter what.
Right.
And, hit the liquor store before.
Tell them hit the liquor store. Tell them you're taking that Comrex unit home, and if they need you, you'll broadcast from home on Monday morning.
Yeah, that's not an option, but
No?
I hear you.
That's a bummer.
I hear you. Are you guys working from home Monday?
Oh, heck no. I mean, I'll be here. Kim, I'll pick you up if you need it.
I knew you would offer that.
I
Aw.
absolutely
It is,
will.
yeah. Mark is nice like that.
She's got a little 4-door car that's probably not going to do well if we get as much snow as the dire predictions so far. They're saying up to 12 inches or so, but others are saying like a dusting. So we just really don't know. I suspect we're going to get at least 5 or 6 inches, so we'll see what happens.
Well, good luck. Be safe. Be warm.
Yeah, no kidding. You too. Enjoy all that trip to the liquor store.
Yeah, I was going to say enjoy the snow. That's not
Yeah.
something you usually hear, but
No,
yes,
that's
thank
true.
you. Thank you.
What's going on?
All right, so futures are slightly lower. Thursday, the Dow Industrials gained 306, the Nasdaq up 211, the S&P 500 up 37. SM Health and United Healthcare have reached a new multi-year agreement preventing thousands of people from losing their in-network medical coverage. Negotiations for a new contract stalled last year as SSM and United Healthcare accused the other of causing the impasse. The deadlock threatened coverage for at least 140,000 people. Franklin County officials have tabled for 6 months a data center proposed near the Shaw Nature Reserve after hundreds of people showed up at a hearing to oppose it. The county's Planning and Zoning Commission voted on the delay after a hearing that dragged on for more than 3 hours. Almost all of the more than 40 speakers opposed the proposal. Airlines have already canceled more than 1,000 flights across the U.S. for Saturday due to a massive winter storm. Carriers waived change and cancellation fees for airports from New Mexico to New York. TikTok said it has completed a deal to spin off its U.S. operations as part of the new joint venture. Tech giant Oracle, MGX, and tech investment firm Silver Lake will each own a 15% stake. The app's Chinese parent company ByteDance will retain a roughly 20% stake in the venture. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said his company has removed human safety monitors from some of its robo-taxi fleet vehicles in Austin. Tesla promised to scale a driverless ride-hail service in the U.S. last year, but fell far shy of that goal with limited operations starting only in Austin and San Francisco. Shares of Tesla rose 4.2% upon the news. And finally, for many Americans, the cost of trying to lose weight extends well beyond the scale. A new poll of U.S. adults actively trying to lose weight found the average respondent spent more than $12,000 in 2025.
Wow.
That's because they're all doing the GLP-1.
What's it called? Is it Wegovy? Is that what it's called?
Now
Or,
it's in pill form.
Yeah, there's a few different options, but it's not even just the GLP-1. Like healthier food costs more.
It does cost more.
I had this discussion with my doctor the other day, and And basically, they've expanded the reasons they're willing to give you the shot, Zepbound or whatever it's called these days, to include sleep apnea, right? In addition to diabetes, or if your AC1 is really high, they know that weight loss can decrease that. So they've increased the reasons that your insurance might cover it, which would cut down on that cost. But if your insurance won't cover it, and I found out after talking to them that mine won't, ours won't here at the radio station, that you have to pay out of pocket, and that's when you get into, I don't know how much it costs. I mean, I haven't even looked into it.
Before all of these like new pill forms and whatnot started going out, I looked into the GLP ones. It would have cost $1,600 out of pocket per month. Yeah,
What?
per month.
Wow.
If
Who
I were
can
to
afford that?
Hey.
See, you're way better off. The problem is, I'd say you're way better off just spending the money on actual good quality food. The problem is people don't want to do that because it's a lot harder.
Oh, it's much harder to just eat right.
Right.
Put the fork
to
down.
sustain it.
Sure.
Wait, what do you mean it's harder?
Well, it takes a lot more self-control.
It does. It's harder to do a regular diet. If you
Right.
take this shot, it eliminates your hunger, and it's so much easier to avoid the bad foods that you're likely to gravitate to. That's my problem. I snack all the time and eat foods I shouldn't eat. And those drugs basically eliminate your appetite. You can forget to eat when you're taking them. So that's why it helps you lose weight so quickly.
All right. Well, it's costly either way, no matter how you look at it.
It's expensive for sure.
Expensive.
Hey, good luck this weekend with the weather up there, Nicole, and we'll talk to you Monday morning.
Right back at you. Thanks
All
so
right.
much.
We'll see you. Thank you. Nicole Murray up in New Jersey. They are going to get supposed to get hammered on the East Coast. Whatever hits us, the worst of it's going to be just a little bit south, and then I think it's going to arch up toward the East Coast, so the networks will all be covering it this morning. Mainly, Gail Smith will have to talk about that.
Gail King?
Gail King will have to talk about that instead of Greenland, which will make her very happy because they don't want to give Trump any credit.
A couple things. Did you hear Gail King could be on her way out from CBS?
In fact, I did have that yesterday in other news.
So that's interesting to me. Not that surprising, though. And the other thing was, I just saw on Twitter that Nick Shirley went to Greenland and talked to the people there saying, what do you think about being part of the United States? Some people were like, I love it. Of course, some people said no, but
well, yeah.
Some people were like, yeah, I'd love it. Let's do it.
A lot of the people up there had MAGA hats on, in this reporter I saw went up there, but there's 60, 70,000 people
Something
in all
like
of
that,
Greenland.
yep.
It's a very small population. Overall, what they'd like is independence. They would rather not be reliant on necessarily Denmark. They'd like to self-govern instead of Denmark or the United States. But my God, you got to look at the benefit cost ratio there. I would think if the U.S. is taking care of you, you're going to be in a lot better shape than if the monarchy in Denmark is taking care of you.
This is a little random, but it's always blown my mind that Greenland is very cold and has a lot of ice, and Iceland is very green. Why?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's always I've always wondered that.
It's greener anyway, right?
Greener,
for sure.
yeah.
I don't know. There you go. All right, quick break here. We will get to in other news coming up next hour. It's a big one. We've got the governor at the top of the hour. Governor Mike Kehoe will talk about his state of the state address. We'll talk about the little accounting error that found another $200 and some million. That's going to help. And, of course, we'll talk about reducing the state income tax to zero at some point and how you pay for that. Where does it come from? So all that straight ahead with the governor. He just declared a state of emergency, by the way, for Missouri because of the weather that's coming in. I think a lot of states have done that. So we'll get to all that for you coming up.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, it's cold, but we look great on the roads. Typical Friday morning. Nobody drives to work, but then everybody drives home. So right now things look fine, and we've got light traffic in general. There is periodically a little bit of a slowdown northbound 55 around Bayless, headed into the work zone, but right now it's fine. And things look good. Eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44 out west into downtown. We're quiet on the Illinois side, and in general, we look good. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, so I got home to some good news yesterday. I didn't even know this was happening. So I told you I went through Corel Roofing, and they work with Sergeant Sparkles to put Christmas lights up. Because of my injury this year, I paid to have Christmas lights put on my house, and they came and took them down yesterday. They were all boxed up in a box on my front porch when I got home. I thought that was great. That's good customer service. It falls right in line with the customer service I've gotten from Corel Roofing over the years. Curtis Correll's a great guy. He's a veteran. He's a great family man. And he's going to take care of you. He's going to be honest with you. I talk about that a lot. That's it. That's important to me. That's part of my value system. I'm working with somebody, and I have any suspicion that they're not being honest with me, that hurts. So you can trust Curtis when he comes over to inspect your roof. You can also trust him when he tells you this. If a roofer comes to your house and tells you they can fix your roof, and they're doing that work in temperatures under 50, let's say 45 degrees, they're probably not very honest, because roofing manufacturing companies will void your warranty if the roof was applied below a certain temperature. And if they're not being honest with you about that, then you may be in trouble down the road. You can trust Curtis. He's going to get up and inspect your roof. He can do that right now. Obviously, there'll be a little bit of snow the next few days, but in general, they can get up there and look at the roof, find out if you got problems, work with your insurance company. If you've been turned down, let Curtis take a run at it. They're really, really good in working with them, and most important of all, he's going to be honest with you. He looked at my daughter's house, said she doesn't need a new roof. There's just not enough damage. Looked at my house, yes, there was, and he worked with the insurance adjuster to get it done. So it's Corel Roofing, 2 R's, 2 L's. You can go online to CorelRoofingCo.com or just call him. Tell him Mark sent you, 314-222-9529.
We're about to make this thing happen, St. Louis. It's your main man, Jimmy Fallon, and I am coming to the factory right in Chesterfield. It is this Saturday. So come join me. Tickets are on sale at 971talk.com/events. It is this Saturday.
It looks like winter finally has arrived. It's really nice weather we were getting. But nice that we kept it all the way through. But it's time for your furnaces to start breaking. If it happens to you, please give me a call, and we'll get somebody right out there and get your heat real fast. If you choose, it makes more sense to replace your furnace. We can do that next day. So if you need service, give me a call. Bart Inman. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number. 314-293-2600. Again, Missouri and Illinois, only one number, 314-293-2600, or go online at bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B. God bless.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com, or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
I don't know if you were watching the Rams play the Bears. Was it last weekend on Sunday?
I watched a little bit of it because I was traveling back that day from Denver. Yes.
And it was cold. It was snowing during the game, and Turns out the Rams players have an unusual trick to try to stay warm. They put cayenne pepper in their socks.
Really?
They
and
say
that
it
works better than hot hands or whatever you can put in there?
Well, because really that you would feel it'd be weird to be stepping on that because it's a little thicker. Cayenne pepper you wouldn't even notice is there.
Yeah, but they make flat ones that kind of stick on the bottom of your socks. But still, yeah, I would never have thought of that.
It says the spicy pepper has been known to improve circulation and blood flow throughout the body. So there is something to it. So if you're cold this weekend, shove some cayenne pepper. Add that to the list when you go to the grocery store today.
Skin.
Shove it where?
Well, if you get a little burn, I'm sorry, but at least you'll be warm.
I went out yesterday and started the snowblower just to make sure it would start. Third pull, baby. Fired right up. Thank you to my former neighbor Steve. When he moved to Alabama, I inherited his snowblower. It's a Honda, and that baby runs like a dream.
I want to go get one of those electric shovels. My poor husband will be out there otherwise trying to shovel, whether we get 1 inch or whether we get a foot.
So a little fake news alert here. If you've been seeing these social media posts claiming that it's so cold in Minnesota, how cold is it, Mark, that trees are exploding.
Sweet.
And that's not true. WCCO TV meteorologist Chris Schaefer took some time Thursday to explain what actually happens. And sometimes you might hear a cracking sound if you're in a wooded area. And apparently the sap can freeze, and when it freezes, it expands, and it can cause a popping sound that you hear, but it is not the trees actually exploding. So just so you know that.
The more you know.
Not happening.
Hey, I remember when I was younger and I'd go to the grocery store with my mom, and I'd always, while I was waiting, look at the magazines, and they'd have that little section that said, stars, they're just like you. They do their laundry. Like, dumb things. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, people are dumbfounded that Adam Sandler went in person to go get some In-N-Out. He went to an In-N-Out burger in Southern California, and people were stunned thinking that this Hollywood star would actually go get fast food in person.
Well, they like fast food too. Happy Gilmore eats
or leave
fast
in their
food.
house.
Stars are just like us. They eat food.
Who knew?
So dumb.
I saw him, Adam Sandler, at a, believe it or not, a Sammy Hagar concert.
Did you?
In a small club, and Adam went up and started singing along with him on the stage. So apparently he gets around.
No, let's not do that again.
We were talking earlier about what's wrong with the Gen Z these days. It's about to get worse. They're going to quit making Lincoln Logs. Did you hear that story, Sue
man.
Thomas?
Really?
The company in Maine, Burnham, Maine, that makes Lincoln Logs is shutting down. They're going to shut down April 14th and end production of this toy that's been around since the 1950s. I certainly had several sets of Lincoln Logs over the years. I remember them. You could, the little logs with cutouts in them, and you could stack them.
Yeah,
and,
they were very satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
where you could build houses and
Yeah.
stuff for your toy men to live in and all that good stuff.
How many architects are we going to lose because of this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
got
lot
my
of
start with Lincoln Logs.
Well, for real, though,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're little.
I get it. Next time you go to McDonald's, you might want to check your receipt because some 19-year-old McDonald's worker was arrested because I guess he was double charging customers for their meals. People weren't realizing it, and then somehow he was able to pocket it. So he only got like $700, but still.
That kind of happened to me at a McDonald's once a couple of years ago. And the employee claimed the machine wasn't working at the drive-thru, and she walked away with my card, said she had to go up front. And that afternoon, I got a fraud alert for $236 charged to some kid's clothing thing online.
Oh, my gosh.
Fortunately, I got the fraud alert, and I was able to shut it down.
Wow.
I called the McDonald's and told them what happened. Never heard a word from them. So
She's probably still working there.
it could happen, right?
Maybe she should fix the ice cream machine and not actually help customers.
Thank you. That would be fantastic. We would appreciate that. Yes, indeed. All right, coming up, it's Governor Mike Kehoe right off the bat in the 7 a.m. hour. Stay tuned.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Wondering if dangerous contaminants are in your home's water? Get Leaf Home Water Solutions today. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make it safer and healthier. Leaf Home Water Solutions is offering a free in-home water test. Just visit leafhome.com/free to schedule yours. With results from their advanced digital testing, Leaf Home Water Solutions can design a whole home system and expertly install it in as little as 1 day. With Leaf Home Water Solutions, you can feel confident that each drop of water from every tap and appliance is cleaner and safer for you and your family. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make our family's water safer with Leaf Home Water Solutions. Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
From New Mexico to New England, I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Millions last of winter.
If the storm comes in as predicted, it will take time for roads to be cleared and passable.
Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger declared a state of emergency. Many other governors have done the same.
This is going to be a big, impactful event.
That's Ken Graham, director of the National Weather Service, who tells Fox some areas will get over a foot of snow.
It's not just the snow. In some places, it's the snow, and it'll be sleet and ice. We're going to have large areas of sleet, with making travel absolutely hazardous.
And thick ice could coat areas from Texas to the Carolinas. There's an anti-ice protest planned in Minnesota today, but not the weather kind. Angry over immigration enforcement raids, organizers are calling for people to skip work and school and not shop. The day after Vice President Vance went to Minneapolis.
Come out and protest me, protest our immigration policy, but do it peacefully. If you assault a law enforcement officer, the Trump administration and the Department of Justice is going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
There's another big demonstration today in Washington, the annual March for Life. Thousands will gather, speaking out against abortion. The day after President Trump created the Board of Peace at the World Economic Forum that some U.S. allies refused to join, he went on Truth Social disinviting Canada.
Prime Minister Carney had said during his speech Tuesday at the World Economic Forum, the era of American dominance is no longer working for countries like his and others.
We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition.
President Trump, in his speech on Wednesday,
Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Carney responds in a national address. Canada doesn't live because of the United States. Canada thrives because we are Canadian.
Fox's Chris Foster. Speaking of peace, in the attempt to stop the war in Ukraine, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff goes from Moscow, where he talked to Russia's leader after a Trump meeting with Ukraine's president. Witkoff goes to the United Arab Emirates, holding talks with officials from Ukraine and Russia in the same room. America's listening to Fox News.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AB.
All right, good morning. I'm Kim Sainanj for 97.1 FM Talk. 7:03 is the time right now. Just 21 degrees. I'll tell you what, though, it feels a lot colder if you're just stepping out the door right now. Governor Mike Kehoe has declared a state of emergency ahead of tomorrow's expected snowstorm. We'll actually be speaking with Governor Kehoe this morning in just a couple of minutes. But I do want to tell you about Illinois. For our friends over there, Governor J.B. Pritzker ordered the state's emergency management agency to deploy extra resources to central and southern. Plans for a data center in Warrenton are moving forward. The proposal calls for 2 large buildings along Interstate 70, both about 800,000 square feet. The Warrenton Board of Aldermen is requiring the data center, though, to meet certain conditions to limit some of the environmental concerns the residents had. So, for example, those include limiting noise and also dimming the lights when they're not in use. 2 pit bulls have been declared dangerous by the city of St. Peters after attacking the neighbor's dog. This happened last week at Stacy Hussman's home. She says her golden lab was in the back and that 2 pit bulls jumped the fence. The lab's vet bill totaled about $1,000. Now, according to the city of St. Peters, the same dogs were involved in another unprovoked attack last year. The owners have until February 4th to complete requirements to get those dogs back, one of which includes putting up a 6-foot fence. In sports, tonight, the Blues play the Stars at 7 o'clock, that game on the road. SLU takes on St. Bonaventure today at 4:30. And coming up tomorrow, Mizzou plays Oklahoma. Illinois faces Purdue. 21 degrees now at 7:04. I'm Kim Sainanj for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we look great. We've got light traffic out there in general, typical of a Friday morning. And eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44 all look great. We even look good on 55 through multiple construction zones. Quiet through North County, looking good on the bridges downtown. If you are headed out this morning, it looks great, at least right now. This report brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Need a new garage door? Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company. Enter now at overheaddoorstlewis.com. Deadline to enter is the end of the month. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlewis.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We continue to have a winter storm warning in effect, but not until Saturday night into late Sunday. Today is a dry day. A mix of clouds and sunshine, windy, and boy, it's cold out the door. It's cold all day long. 14 for the high. Tonight, clouds take over. It's dry tonight and very cold. 4 on Saturday. Periods of snow, especially developing as we go through the afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Time is 7:06 right now. Temperature downtown at the Arch, 21 degrees. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or, of course, any of our other shows here on 97.1 FM Talk. Take us with you anytime or anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
And yes, we did update the accumulation totals. 1 foot of snow not out of the equation necessarily.
Wow, that is my friend Matt Chambers over Channel 4 this morning. We're going to get to Dave Murray, our meteorologist, coming up in the next hour. So whatever those snow totals end up being, I don't know. Dave has not committed yet, so we'll see what that ends up being. But as a result of that storm yesterday, I saw from Jeff City, Governor Mike Kehoe has issued a state of emergency, and just so happens we have the governor on the line this morning. Governor, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, Mark. Good to be back. Great this morning. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I know you've got your hands full right now because it looks like all the way across the state of Missouri, people are about to get hammered with some kind of weather.
Yeah, it's difficult when you have a statewide event. Most states, and Missouri included, have equipment to handle, a third or a half of a state. But when you have 114 counties being affected, it gets a little bit more challenging for our crews, both on a statewide and for your local crews in your municipality. So we're encouraging people, it's a weekend, so we're hoping people will obviously a lot of them will be off of work, to stay home and let the crews do their job, because this will be a difficult one coming across.
Governor, what does that emergency declaration actually do? Does it just provide more money or resources?
It allows us to get into some federal resources. I actually talked to Secretary Kristi Noem yesterday for quite a while about, multiple states, as you can see, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, et cetera, as you go on east. It allows us for some federal resources, but most importantly, it allows us to activate the National Guard if we need to. We don't intend to call our men and ladies out of the National Guard. We have some wonderful people who serve our state. But if we need to, we have some severe issues that allows us to activate that resource to help Missourians out if needed.
Absolutely. Well, sir, a lot has happened since we talked last, including the legislative session starting again in your State of the State address, where you talked about the income tax. Tell us what you're hoping to get accomplished and what the timeline is for that.
Sure. Well, Mark, you followed, and many Missourians, including our friends in St. Louis, followed our campaign, where that was one of the pillars of what we ran on, is that we believe Missourians can spend their money better than any politician any day of the week, including me, by the way. That's not a slam on politicians. That if we were to eliminate the state's income tax, that would put approximately $9 billion with a B back in the Missourians' pockets every year. And we think that that's something that other states have done that brings us out of being competitive for certain economic development projects. We want to be competitive in Missouri. We know how to be competitive. This is a tool in our toolbox we need to compete with states like Tennessee and Texas, South Dakota, et cetera, who have that piece in their toolbox. We really think it's important. And so it's important for the competitiveness, and it puts more money in Missourians' pockets. We think that's a good day.
Of course, the way the local media painted it was, Governor Kehoe just wants to increase the sales tax, and that's going to be really, really hurtful. And I think they were even calling you, what was it, tax hike Mike? How do you respond to those concerns?
Well, with the exception of you guys, when the local media says something bad about me, I consider that usually a compliment. But, you of course, you're the exception, as I mentioned. So it's you have to have a revenue stream. We're not going to cut essential revenue services. Trust me, there's a lot of people who would like to cut our state's budget by $9 billion, but we're not going to do this irresponsibly. We saw Kansas try to do that. It did not work for them. And to answer Mark's first question, we would have a gradual series of triggers involved to where, as we widened our sales tax base, think of our sales tax code right now that was built in 1935. Think of anything you or any of your listeners have done in the last maybe 10 minutes or 10 days. What was it even around in 1935? So it's about updating our sales tax code to capture the electronic digital world that we're in. We're not in a checkbook economy anymore. We're in an economy that relies on newer services, new things that are happening, which are great for Missourians. But updating that tax code to widen our tax base just a little bit, and at the same time lower our income tax. So then in about a 4 or 5 year period, to answer your question, Mark, we think we can be at zero for our state income tax for Missourians to keep that money, and a little bit wider and possibly higher sales tax, but not higher. I have to reiterate this. Not higher that we would be non-competitive with our surrounding states. It's not a double-digit increase. And we would make sure the legislature in the constitutional amendment can never raise it to just be crazy. It only can be raised to offset the income tax that we're giving back to Missourians. So we would protect Missourians from future legislators who might be crazy and think that they're going to raise this out the wazoo. There's a lot of protections for Missourians in it, and at the end of the day, you just have to believe what I've already said. Missourians can spend their money better than the politicians can.
Well, amen. It's your money. I mean, let me keep it in my pocket, and then I can decide what goods and services I'm going to spend it on. I think it's a great idea. You know, Governor, whenever this comes up, somebody inevitably on my Facebook feed, or they're going to message me this morning and say, "What about the personal property tax?" Because that's been discussed in the past. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I hate personal property tax. I've yet to meet anybody, Mark, who actually likes it. But it's a lot more complicated to try to get 114 counties, and I think there's over 2,000 personal property tax schemes, I'll call it, and I don't mean that in a bad way. There just is in our various municipalities around the state. So to try to eliminate that is very difficult. But what I would tell your listeners and anybody who gets on social media is the protections we have in our plan say that municipalities and counties can't automatically gain or get a windfall from widening the sales tax base. They must roll their taxes back. So that could be school assessments could come back and stay even. Property taxes could come down. Will this eliminate property tax? I don't want to paint that picture. Will it stabilize it and decrease it? It's very possible in multiple counties across our state. That's what will happen as this plan starts to evolve. So this is our best shot at least stopping the growth on that and maybe taking it in a downward direction in multiple counties across our state.
Yeah. Governor, I know that one of the stories that was in the news this week was about the accounting error in your budget. What happened?
We double counted the relief money for some of the storms. And to be honest with you, we go through multiple versions of a budget as our office and our budget folks are working up. We call it a rack up, where you say, let's eliminate this, let's do this, and let's do that. Okay, re-rack it and see where we're at. And it was an honest mistake. The Office of Budget and Accounting was literally almost in tears. And I said, man, you guys must have worked for some real jerks in the past, because this was an honest mistake. It's a good mistake. It means that we'll have more money on the bottom line for Missourians. We were going to end the year roughly with about a $4 or $5 million balance, and now this will be about a $270 million balance.
Wow.
And we've asked both legislative chairmen not to spend it. It's not right. We don't have to spend every dollar that we take in from Missourians. So it was an honest mistake, I will say that, but it's a good mistake, and it brings us into a stronger cash balance at the end of the year.
Any thoughts on this whole redistricting issue where Secretary of State Denny Hoskins is saying that, quite a few of the signatures don't count because of when they were collected, and now they're trying to say that he should be impeached?
Oh, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, number one. Not the signature collection, but that he should be impeached. Denny's doing a great job. You guys both know, if you ran into any signature collectors, or your listeners did, on any of these issues, including when they were collecting it for congressional, what's really fun is when you say, where are you from? And they say, Oregon, Michigan, New York, Florida. These are paid signature collectors. These are paid outside money groups, mainly from the East Coast, that are very liberal groups trying to stop what's right. Missouri's First map represents Missouri's values. It is the map of the law right now, and we believe it will hold up in court. And a lot of the signature collection process was not done the way it should have been. Let me just say that. And I think Denny Hoskins is doing a great job. And this notion that he should be impeached is incredibly ridiculous.
And now all we need to do, Governor, is get IP reform passed, right?
That's up. We got that through the legislature, and we've been a proponent of that before. You should not just allow people who have a ton of money come in and just change our Constitution overnight. It's not the way the Founding Fathers want it. The last constitutional measure, Mark, that Missourians approved changed the Constitution by 200 pages. Wow. Oh, my God sakes, we don't need 200 pages of changes in our Constitution. So I hope we can get IP reform across the finish line.
Governor, glad we got you on again. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. It's good to talk to you both. Have a safe weekend. And again, Missourians and your listeners, if you can stay home, please stay home. It's going to be bitterly cold. Cars sliding off the road and people not being found could result in tragic incidents. So please stay home. Let the crews do their job. Stay warm. Check your neighbors.
Governor, thanks. We'll talk soon. All right, thank you. Good to get him on there this morning and talk a little bit more about how that income tax might get phased out over 5 years. Let me keep my money. I'll decide what I'm going to spend it on. How about that? All right, coming up, Jim Carafano. Could there be better timing? He's just back from weeks of vacation. I don't know where he was. He was out of the country, and he can talk to us more about Kim's questions about Greenland and Iceland. We'll be right back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we're having a really nice commute this morning, which is kind of making up for the fact that it's 13 degrees out. We'll see. But we have light traffic, and that's eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44. No major issues. I don't even see many small. Northbound 55 looks great. No delays if you are headed in from Illinois. So far, so good this morning, and let's hope it sticks that way. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan of McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
All right, let's talk about what's going to happen on Tuesday, February 17th. The snow will be long gone by then, and the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group are going to be getting together out at the Doubletree in Chesterfield. So a new location this time, right off I-64 there in Chesterfield Parkway, 6440. So if you're nearing retirement, maybe you've already retired, you see the ups and downs in the market, and you can't deal with that anymore because you need the income from your savings to support your retired life, you need to go hear what they have to say. It's free. They always give you a cold drink, some soda or something, and some cookies, but that's not the point of it. The point of it is to get educated. So you show up. It's a very relaxed environment. It's a room full of 97.1 listeners. I love it. You guys always pack the room. And then at the end of it, after you've heard from Bob and Tammy Kershaw explaining how this works, if you're not interested, you walk away. If you are, you just fill out a piece of paper and they'll contact you and set up an appointment. It's a low-pressure situation where you can ask questions and find out important information. So reach out to them. You can go online to tell them that you're interested in. In fact, you can sign up online at retirementkey.com or call them at 314-993-9494. Again, that's the 17th of February, Chesterfield Doubletree. It's free. Go online today to retirementkey.com.
SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Buy big brands with Pro-Am Golf, test your skills, and win prizes while they last. VIP tickets at stlgolfexpo.com.
Are your windows drafty, outdated, or hard to open? Choose Infinity from Marvin Windows. Crafted from durable fiberglass for superior energy efficiency, beauty, and performance. At Lakeside Renovation and Design, we specialize in custom-fit professional window installations that transform your home. Plus, with our lifetime workmanship warranty, you'll have peace of mind for years to come. Call Lakeside today or visit windowsbylakeside.com to schedule your free window consultation. Replace with confidence. Choose Infinity from Marvin.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy weight gain or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
You're back with Marc Cox and Kim St. Onge. The Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Last year, under his leadership, NATO collectively reached that famous 2%, which we agreed 10 years ago. I asked the room, I said, big countries like Spain and Italy and Belgium and Canada reaching that 2%, would it have ever happened if President Trump would not have been reelected? No.
You know, I was born in the South. South Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the legend, J.J. Carafano, back on the radio with us this morning. Jim, how are you?
Yeah, sorry. I actually was
on vacation. I went to Canada. To
Good.
the Canadian Rockies, where they still love Americans. And then I was in Lithuania. So there you go.
Wow. So were you where were you? Were you north of Glacier up there? Where'd you go?
Banff and then Lake Louise. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Great
bucket
people.
list.
It's a lovely place. Alberta should just be its own country.
No kidding. I'm going to be near there. I'm going to be in Montana next month, so I'm looking forward to that as well, near Glacier. Wow, buddy. Maybe you're up there citing out some spots for China to build some military bases, since the Prime Minister Carney seems to be snuggling up to China these days.
So what's funny about that is, I don't know why, but just checking my X account up there, now my X account is just filled with Canadians. You know, so all I've seen these things about. Look, I can't. You know, what's funny is I had a very close friend who I won't name who said, "This is great. Carney's a Wall Street business guy. He knows Trump. He knows how to deal with Trump." And I think Canadians largely voted for Carney because they thought this is a guy that, you know, was going to deal with Trump and get a good deal for Canada. And instead what he's done is, I mean, people complain about affordability. Prices are skyrocketing in Canada. Food prices are way up. Unemployment's way up. They've got a huge transnational crime issue. All he wants to do is do green stuff and LGBT and then go to Davos and insult the president of the United States. And then say our best friend is going to be China, which is which people are just like, this is just nuts. And so Canadians, I think, are the most unhappy with how things are going right now.
Yeah, how do you feel about the Greenland deal? Now, I said all along, the media, the critics never read Art of the Deal. It's how Donald Trump negotiates. He knew we needed extra security agreements with Greenland. He ended up getting exactly what he was after, I believe. I don't think he ever thought he was going to own the place. That's a win, isn't it?
Totally. You know, the weird thing is a win for everybody. You know, when I was in Lithuania, it wound just being all Greenland all the time. And I was just talking, you just got to chill. This won't even be 6 months from now, we won't even be talking about this.
Right.
It's going to get solved. It's going to get solved to everybody's satisfaction, and in the end, it's going to be good for everybody, unless you happen to live in Beijing or Moscow. Everybody else is going to benefit from this deal. And people just, you know, told me, "Oh, it's the end of the world." You know, I decided it's like all these people. They're like one of those doomsday cults.
Yeah.
Right. The world is going to end on Tuesday, and then when the world doesn't end on Tuesday, they go, "Oh, well, it's next Tuesday." Right. So Donald Trump's going to bring the end of everything, and then when he just solves the problem, they just move on to but you know, it's next week he's going to be the end of the world. I'm just sick of it.
I just heard, Jim, the death toll in Iran topped, I think it was just over 5,000. And one of the big questions and a lot of debate is how involved should the United States be in that? What's your take?
Well, my take doesn't matter. The only one that matters is the guy in the White House. So here's, I think, what we know is by next week, if not the end of this week, which is already here. So the president's going to have enough military force in place in the theater to do a very significant strike on security, intelligence, and government if he decides to pull the trigger on that. And we know that Trump doesn't do smacks; he does punches. And if they do a strike, I think it will be a kind of strike to actually disrupt the government. It seems like he's going to follow the Venezuela model. You know, in Venezuela, we were actually talking to people inside the country, and then say, "We're going to do this. We're going to take this guy out. If you play ball with us, then you won't get the next Hellfire missile.
Yeah.
And we're going to work towards a transition that's good for the Venezuelan people and good for American interests." I am sure he's having the same kinds of conversations in Iran, but whether he pulls the trigger on that, I don't know. But certainly he is prepared to do that. As he does, I think it will be kind of more like the Venezuela model. I think much more difficult to execute that in the Middle East than Latin America. But I say this is really important. We are not facing the geopolitical situation that we faced in post-war Iraq, where we jumped in and then everybody just poured in all their crap into the country, particularly the Iranians. Nobody has an interest in seeing Iran fly apart. And that's very, very different than the situation we face in Iraq, where everybody wanted it to be a hellhole.
True.
Except us.
That's true. Let me get back to Davos very quickly. Play the tease, Ethan, for cut number 2. The German Chancellor Merz here. Listen to this.
I do not say this lightly. In the 20th century, my country, Germany, went down this road to its bitter end. It pulled the world into a black abyss.
As I listened to that guy, Jim, it sounded very much to me like he was accusing Donald Trump of being like Nazi Germany. Honestly.
I honestly don't think so. Merz has actually been one of the more adults in the room. The Germans have actually worked pretty well with the United States, and he's actually been pretty hard on other Europeans. And he's actually said things like getting off nuclear power was just stupid. This green energy stuff's not working. So I don't think Germany, quite honestly, is the problem. And I think that's as much. I think the real analogy here is Russia and China and Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And we let those countries, we let the Germans run wild until when we got serious about it, it was just too late. And I think that's the concern that we have.
Sorry.
Like Russia and China are on.
Yeah. True. Well, but that means I'm out of time. Jim, great having you on again, my friend. Welcome back.
Thanks.
We'll talk soon. All right, see you. Jim Carafano there. I think the music scared him. Sorry about that. All right, coming up, we are going to talk to Congressman Eric Burlison in the Capitol beat. Plenty to discuss about what's going on in the House right now. We'll be right back.
Extreme cold weather coming in through St. Louis this mid-January probably. If you're having issues with your furnace, give me a call. If you were told you need a new furnace, without a question, give me a call. You'll be happy you did. We're all the same when it comes to like buying a furnace and air conditioner, just like with pretty much anything else. If you're like me, I want a furnace that heats, and in the heat of summer, I want an air conditioner that works. Pretty much simple. So is a more high-efficient air conditioner or a more high-efficient furnace give me more heat, more cooling? No, it doesn't at all. It gives you the exact same. So with that being said, you need to call me. Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or you can do the online thing, and it's Bart Inman, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
All right, so all the snow, one of these days it's going to warm up a little bit, and we're going to get some snow, and then it's going to melt. It's going to be in the ground, and moisture in the ground with our clay soil creates pressure. I didn't always realize that, but my friend Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repairs kind of schooled me on it, and he's like, listen, thousands of pounds of pressure. So if there's a crack anywhere in your foundation, that water is going to try to find a way into your house. If you have that problem, it's a nightmare. It can be a big deal or it can be not a big deal, but you got to have honesty in the person who's doing the fix for you so you're not paying for things you don't need. That's what I'm telling you get with Matt Hayes and Home Shield Foundation Repairs. Call him up. He or one of his employees will come over to your house and take a look for you. 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. Tell him Mark sent you. Go online to HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 21 degrees now coming up on 731. The Missouri Gaming Commission has rejected the NCAA's request to put limits on sports betting. The NCAA wanted a ban on prop betting on all sports across the country in light of that gambling scandal involving a former SLU basketball player. If you're not familiar with that, prop betting allows you to bet specifically on how individual players will perform in a game. The commission voted to put the request on hold until it can look further into the impact of it. Wentzville police are investigating after a car crashed into Walmart. This happening around 2 o'clock this morning at the store there off Wentzville Parkway. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. All right, in sports, tonight the Blues playing on the road against the Stars at 7 o'clock. SLU takes on St. Bonaventure today at 4:30. Tomorrow, Mizzou plays Oklahoma. Illinois faces Purdue. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Wow, we are really having a great commute. Just a little bit of moderate volume starting to appear on northbound 270, mainly around Doherty Ferry and the Clayton Road overpass. 55, periodically you'll see some volume at Bayless. But for the most part, we are great, and that's Missouri and Illinois sides both. Now, on Route 30 this morning, starting at 9 a.m. until 3 p.m., crews plan to close a lane east and westbound between 141 and Seibert Avenue. Again, that will be 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. If you are a person who has been saving for retirement, that is great. And I find that you think, okay, this is what we know to do. Save for retirement. Then it gets closer and you start to think, wait a minute. Now what? Do I have a written retirement plan in place? Do I know how to handle taxes in retirement? How do I know how to make this money last through my entire life? Well, that is why financial and tax architects exist. And their idea is let's teach people how this works. So go to a class they put on. It's free. It's called Retirement Planning 101. They do it at colleges throughout the area. And you sit down for 2.5 hours and get a handle on how money in retirement works. And then you can decide whether you want financial and tax architects to help you with that written plan. So call 314-888-5101, 314-888-5101, and register for that free class and start there. You're already going to feel better about retirement.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
But you obviously believe ICE should be abolished, but there are many in your party who are not going that far. Is that a problem for you?
I think any step in the direction of reining in and cutting the funding of an agency that is attacking U.S. citizens, that are kidnapping 5-year-olds, that are using them as bait to open doors, and that are privately circulating that they can violate everyday Americans' constitutional rights by busting into their doors, they deserve to be defunded. I'll take any step in that direction.
Are you Capital Beat?
Well, sorry to lower the IQ in the room by playing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez there, but we have Congressman Eric Burlison on the line to kind of balance that out this morning. And I assume that these are people that are actively trying to defund ICE. And even though some of the Democrats crossed over, Congressman, yesterday and voted with Republicans to make sure that funding continues, right?
Yes. Yeah, we did have some sane Democrats yesterday vote to continue the funding for Homeland Security. So that was good. I think it might have been part of a broader negotiated package with the appropriators. So yeah, that's who you saw generally of the Democrats that voted for it.
Yeah,
were the people that are on appropriations, because they to be on the appropriations, those people are all cutting deals all the time. So you vote for this bill, you vote for my earmarks in this bill, and I'll vote for your bill. That kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just crazy. You guys have been pretty busy with appropriations and all of that stuff yesterday, right?
Yeah, we completed from the House side, we completed the 12 appropriation bills. We did it by having Homeland was separate on its own, and then they had what they call a mini bus, which is like a mini omnibus, which was 3 bills put together, and that was Labor H and transportation, housing and urban development. So all of that, which was full of a lot of earmarks that I could not stomach. I mean, you had money that went to fund all of these these hospitals that are doing trans surgeries. There was like $3 million sent to Denver Health Hospital Authority to provide transgender surgeries. There's $4 million sent to Christiana Care to perform late-term abortions up to 23 weeks. $3 million to Hennepin Healthcare to operate a kids gender clinic. There was about 24 of these kind of earmarks that the Democrats were able to get into Labor H, and that's the kind of stuff that, frankly, Mark, like it makes me want to leave this town.
Wow.
It's just awful.
Yeah, I don't understand, and it happens over and over and over again, and it's like Charlie Brown in the football, right? you know it's going to get pulled away, but you got to keep taking a kick at it. It's just crazy.
Well, I mean, we're making incremental progress, but it's just frustrating. If we had more Republicans that had a spine, we would be able to do a lot more. But
yes.
Unfortunately, like we had an amendment to strip all of those earmarks out of the bill, and it failed. So people can go and look at the Republicans that voted to not strip those earmarks, and so at least people can see how their lawmaker voted.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised to see that it was 9 Democrats who voted with Republicans with the House committee to hold the Clintons in contempt. I guess my question would be, what's the next step here? What happens following that vote?
Yeah, so now I think it goes to the floor. I think that we do have the votes on the floor. I just can't imagine any Republican voting against that.
I can't either.
This is a Article 1 power. This is, if we are not going to exert our authority against someone who is blatantly violating the law and ignoring Congress, then what are we doing here? So the Clintons were 2 of about 24 people that we subpoenaed all at once. The Democrats voted unanimously, along with them Republicans, to subpoena Bill and Hillary Clinton, along with William Barr and a bunch of other people. It was Republican people that we were subpoenaing and Democrat people. So it was a bipartisan thing. Well, guess who the only 2 people that didn't comply with the subpoena? Bill and Hillary Clinton. They didn't do anything. I mean, they sent the only thing they did was their attorneys sent a letter saying, we'll come, but you have to come to us in New York. It's going to be only the chairman and the ranking member. They can take notes, but there will be no deposition. There will be no transcripts for anyone. That's not an interview. That is not a deposition.
No.
So that is just like, and the question is, what are you trying to hide, Bill Clinton? Right. So to me, that was unacceptable, and I'm glad that we finally had a vote to hold these people accountable.
How entitled? I mean, ask Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro what it's like to be held in contempt of Congress. You can get sent to jail for it, which they both did. And the Clintons just have an entitlement attitude on this. I don't know if you've ever heard this bite or not, but it makes me want to play it.
Back up, you creep. Get away from me.
That was Hillary Clinton when she did the audio version of her own book about losing to Donald Trump. Those are words she was thinking in her mind when Donald Trump was near her on the debate stage. I wonder if she's ever said that to her own husband, who's a bit of a creep. and my guess is, Congressman, that if James Comer managed to get Bill Clinton in front of Congress with a subpoena, the reason he doesn't want this to be on record is they're going to put up the pictures of the young woman massaging his shoulders, and they're going to ask him how old she was. And he doesn't want to talk about that.
No, or who else was in the hot tub?
Yes.
Right? Or when Virginia Roberts was talking about how many times that she was around Bill Clinton, what other women were there, right? And how old were they? How old was Virginia Roberts at this time? Because, at the end of the day, he even if he wasn't involved in the sexual activity himself, he was clearly around it. How could you be with him at all these places, be in a hot tub, all the photographs that are taken. These are photographs of him not at like some public social gathering, and so, you know what I'm saying? For example,
right.
Like all the photos with the Trumps, those are all at some kind of public, fundraising event, things like that. You don't see those kind of personal behind the scenes photos of Trump with Epstein on Epstein Island or on the plane. And that's why I think he has a lot to answer for. And there was, Epstein visited the White House almost 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been to the White House. I've been there maybe 3 times. I mean, the Epstein visited 20 times. And then after Bill Clinton was the president, Clinton flew on his plane over 24 times.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, he had a clear, very, very close relationship. Epstein was invited to Chelsea's wedding.
Yeah, he's a material witness, and to suggest that they don't have anything to add to this is ludicrous, is what it is.
But what actually happens? I mean, let's just say the final vote is to hold them both in contempt. Do you ever see either of them serving a day? I mean, would it be a fine? I mean, what would really come of that, except for maybe embarrassment? Maybe.
No, I think that it depends on how aggressive Pam Bondi is with it. I mean, what we're doing is we're sending that to the Attorney General's office. And they're to take action on it. And in the past, the Democrats did it, as you said, to Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon, and they were successful in that. Now, I would argue that was not a proper and legal subpoena, because that was not a legally formed committee. The J6 committee was not an official committee of Congress. It was a stood up committee that was seated with people all by Nancy Pelosi. In other words, the Republicans didn't get to pick any of their members on that committee. So, and even when they issued the subpoena, the rules require that they have the ranking member, sign off on the subpoena. That did not happen. So there was a lot of reasons why Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon had legal reasons, and yet they still lost in court and went to jail. That's why I think the history is that you don't win if you're being prosecuted for contempt of Congress. So hopefully, the Clintons will finally face some kind of justice.
Well, as Hillary told us in her own words, she's prepared for it.
I kept my cool, aided by a lifetime of dealing with difficult men trying to throw me off.
Buildings.
I did, however, grip the microphone extra hard.
Just the strangest thing to listen to Hillary Clinton. She voiced her own book. That's her reading her own book. She's not even good at reading her own words. That's the amazing thing.
Why would you torture yourself to listen to her read her book?
I don't know. But I found it years ago, and I had to keep several of those bites from Hillary describing her interactions with Donald Trump. And I've often wondered, you were so worried about Trump, and the guy you need to be worried about was probably in the room with you at the time. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Congressman, keep up the great work up there in D.C. We appreciate you giving us some time.
Thank you. And are you guys getting snow too? We're getting a bunch of snow in Southwest Missouri.
Yeah, we're about to have Dave Murray on in the next hour to talk a little bit more about it. He's our chief meteorologist. The local TV stations are now saying up to a foot. So I don't know what to expect.
Well, enjoy the weather.
Yeah, that's all you can say. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Take care. Yeah. Chamber says up to a foot. Maybe more in some places, and we'll find out what Dave Murray says. He's not put a total on it yet. So I think you're maybe getting some breaking news this morning from Dave Murray. We'll find out what he thinks. If Dave says we're getting a foot of snow, I'm going to believe it. I'll just tell you that because he's very conservative with his weather forecasting, and he always has been. He has not changed at all. Kim, what are we talking about on Kim on a Whim?
To quote Ronald Reagan and then sadly Obama, who used to try to say that all the time, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago when Biden was in office when it comes to feeling safer when you're walking around downtown? Do you feel safer? I have some new numbers that tell you you should.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, no snow right now. It's just cold out there, and we look good on the roads. Eastbound 64, just a little bit of volume here and there. It looks like it was at Timberlake Manor, but not much. Same thing on northbound 270, a little bit. Doherty Ferry up through the Clayton Road overpass. Periodically, 55 will slow at Bayless in the construction zone. Southbound traffic on 170, a little slow at 64, but that's it. In general, we look good on both sides of the river. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. Most home projects, you're like, got this. But rewiring a hot main or putting 120 amps to an outlet, you're like, nope, not this. Smart. Calling Jerry Kelly? Smarter. Getting them to perform an electrical safety check before work's needed? That's wisdom.
JerryKelly.com.
All right, so this word of warning from my friend Curtis, who is a experienced roofing contractor. Do not allow a roofing company to install your roof when the temperature is even in the mid-40s because, here's what he tells me, the shingle manufacturers will deny warranty claims if the roof is installed in sub-40-degree days. They just won't cover it. And there are contractors out there so anxious for the work that they won't tell you that. They're just going to go ahead and put the roof on anyway if they've got a halfway decent day. Curtis says, listen, don't let them do that. That's why he's trying to put the warning out that there are people out there who are being less than honest with you. And Curtis is always going to be honest with you. He a veteran. He's a family man, and he runs a great company. That is Corel Roofing Co. And you go to their website. You can see what I'm talking about. He keeps experienced roofers working for him. He's the one that'll come out often and inspect your roof and tell you the honest truth about whether or not you need a new roof. And if he believes it, he's going to go to your adjuster and he's going to make the case for you. If you've been denied, Curtis is happy to take another run at it for you because he's really good at that, about making his case that, hey, this individual has got this much damage. He can point it out in pictures and take him up on the roof and show it to him. Reach out to him, 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. He put on my roof, and I heartily recommend him to be the guy that puts on your roof. Go to their website today to CorelRoofingCo.com.
2026 is an election year, and 97.1 FM Talk will be your home for every twist and turn in the 2026 midterms. 97.1 FM Talk. Keep it here for radio coverage that's 25 years strong.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a whim.
Murders plummeted 21% in the U.S. last year, which is the largest drop in a single year ever recorded. Researchers believe it might be the overall lowest murder rate in the U.S. since 1900. And here in L.A., murders dropped by 39%. Researchers on the Council on Criminal Justice looked at a total of 40 major cities and found that carjackings and shoplifting also went down, but overall, drug offenses were the only category that went up.
Well, what do you know? Trump says on the campaign trail that he's going to crack down on crime, and crack down on crime he did.
Yes.
And the statistics show it. And you know what makes me really happy, Marc Cox?
What's that?
Going to all the liberal outlets that hate reporting on anything to do with Trump that is the slightest bit positive, and seeing all of them having to report this. I love that. It's great.
Well, and I pointed it out, I'll just say, when the city of St. Louis rolled out its crime stats recently. We had the bites from the chief, and, Mark Maxwell, the investigative reporter at 5, went over there and quizzed them on some of their clearance rate, I think, is what he took issue with, because they didn't clear 80% of their murder cases, at least not from the 2025 murder cases. There were 140 of them, and they cleared about 30 of them, which is far below 84%. They added some old cases in that got solved, and that appeared to bump the rate up. Regardless, they're bragging about the fact that they had the fewest killings since 2013 at 140 or 141 people died, were murdered, I should say, not died, were murdered in 2025. Well, crime numbers are down across the country because of the approach of this administration. Something changed in January a year ago. It changed. The approach to policing changed. The approach to the way the federal government is attacking this crime problem changed. More resources were thrown at a lot of these things. We could ask Governor Kehoe about that when we had him on, because that's one of the first things he announced when he became governor.
Right.
Is that he was going to put extra resources into task forces across the state to help fight crime, help local municipalities fight crime. So I'm not surprised at all.
Of this report, as far as which cities were increasing or decreasing, says 35 cities covered by this report. Denver saw the largest decline in homicides at 41%. Washington, D.C., which makes total sense, and Omaha tied at second for 40%. Los Angeles, Buffalo, Albuquerque, Long Beach, Atlanta, Baltimore, Chicago all saw declines of more than 30%. 30% drop in homicides. Now, 3 of the 35 cities did see an increase in homicides. Little Rock, Fort Worth, and Milwaukee. Now, unfortunately, Minneapolis might go up there, too, for next year based on what we're seeing play out.
Right. Well, I mean, it's good. It just shows that defunding the police doesn't work, but you've still got idiots walking around talking about defunding ICE. I just played one of them earlier. Her initials are AOC.
Oh, Mom Donnie wants that too.
Mom Donnie wants it. Elon Omar wants it because they're investigating fraud in the Somali community.
Her investigating her.
I know, and
because
they
of
should.
her net worth or whatever has skyrocketed.
Of course it has.
She and Nancy Pelosi are hanging out together. Tell me your secrets, Nancy.
Yeah. So maybe the more law enforcement that you have on the street, the fewer criminals you have. Look at Washington, D.C. It's a master class in how to reduce the number of crimes. The criminals prey on people who are not prepared. And when you have police everywhere, they're less likely to try to commit those crimes. It just makes sense. It flies completely in the face of what these leftists have been preaching for 4 years of the Biden administration, and there's no doubt in my mind that directly relates to what's happened here.
Yep. It just goes to show that, people want to sit there and say that Trump's doing this or Trump's doing that, but when you actually look at the numbers, they tell a very different story than you're going to hear in the mainstream media.
Winning is what he's doing, and the left will never admit that because they've made their minds up. All right, coming up, we got a big hour for you. We're going to talk to Dave Murray, get the lowdown. What Dave maybe finally put some numbers on this snow this morning. He hasn't done that yet. We'll get his forecast at 8:35. Got the Queen of Hearts drawing. We're going to talk to a former abortion clinic manager who's seen the light and is going to be there for the March for Life in Washington, D.C. We'll be right back.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley, and this is the sound of our attorneys walking into court. Because when an insurance company offers a lowball settlement, we go to trial, prepping endlessly, interviewing witnesses. We know the loss and the cost of an accident, and when it's needed, we go to war for you and take the fight to the insurance company, because we've been in your shoes. Kaufman Townsley, real people, real results. Call 314-777-7777.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from Michael's Bass. You've upgraded the kitchen, you've invested in your home, so why settle for a bathroom that still feels ordinary? At Michael's Bass, they create elevated bathroom spaces that blend luxury, comfort, and smart design, all tailored to the way you live. This isn't a temporary fix or a quick cover-up. It's a complete transformation, built to last and built to add value to your home. And now is the perfect time to plan for a spring installation. Visit michaelsbass.com or call 636-775-0800. Ask about financing options, including 0% interest. michaelsbass.com.
Attention, Missouri baby boomers. The Give 5 program wants to connect you with volunteer opportunities that fit your skills and passions. Learn how you can lend a helping hand and bring positive change to those who need it most in just 5 hours a month. Signing up is easy. Just attend our next free class in your local community. Visit our website at MissouriGive5.org to find a class near you. Brought to you by Missouri Area Agencies on Aging.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Millions of Americans will be stuck at home this weekend. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A massive winter storm's coming.
It's a quarter of an inch of ice on the roads, and it creates just havoc everywhere. We're preparing for the worst and hoping for the best.
Brian Kemp in Georgia is one of many governors declaring an emergency in their states. Thick ice could coat areas from the Carolinas back to Texas, where it starts tonight.
Here in Dallas, we could see close to quarter to a half an inch of ice once all is said and done.
Fox weather meteorologist Bain Froney.
This storm system is going to continue to track throughout the entire country, leaving tons and leaving tons of snow in its wake. Areas like Oklahoma City could get up to 8 to 12 inches of snow as we move throughout the weekend. Now, this is going to continue to track up towards the north and the northeast.
It's not just driving that could be treacherous. Airlines are getting ready, waiving change fees for people to reschedule. Not only are there about 400 flights canceled today, there are already more than 1,400 cancellations tomorrow. A day of anti-ice protests planned in Minnesota where it's frigid, 30 to 40 below zero wind chills. Organizers angry over immigration enforcement raids are urging people not to go to work or school, don't shop. As one protest last Sunday remains under federal investigation.
3 arrests so far from that anti-ICE protest that took over a church service last weekend. And I emphasize so far because federal officials say more arrests are coming.
That's Fox's Garrett Tenney in Minneapolis. President Trump posted this morning on Truth Social about his accomplishments at the World Economic Forum, from the framework of a security deal in Greenland to setting up his new Board of Peace. Something President Trump did on day one of term 2 has taken effect, pulling the U.S. out of the World Health Organization,
accusing it of mismanaging the COVID-19 pandemic and being too susceptible to political influence. That withdrawal has now been finalized, with U.S. funding and staffing ceased, although WHO says the U.S. still owes it more than $130 million. The Trump administration says there will be collaboration on disease surveillance and data sharing directly with other countries. And
that's Fox's Chris Foster. America's listening to Fox News.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. It is 8:03 now on Friday, January 23rd, and we are already dropping. Started out at about 21 degrees. We're now sitting at 13 degrees in downtown St. Louis. In Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker ordered the state's emergency management agency to deploy extra resources specifically to central and southern Illinois. Meanwhile, Governor Mike Kehoe has declared a state of emergency ahead of tomorrow's expected snowstorm. And we did speak with Governor Kehoe this morning on our show at 7:05. You can listen to the entire conversation on the free Odyssey app. Also making headlines, plans for a data center in Warrenton are moving forward. The proposal calls for 2 large buildings along Interstate 70, both of them about 800,000 square feet. The Warrenton Board of Aldermen is requiring, though, that this data center meet certain conditions to limit some of the environmental concerns that residents had. For example, those include limiting noise and also dimming the lights when they're not in use. 2 pit bulls have been declared dangerous by the city of St. Peters after attacking the neighbor's dog. This incident happened last week at Stacy Hussman's home. She says her golden lab was in the backyard when 2 pit bulls jumped the fence and attacked. The lab's vet bill totaled about $1,000. Now, according to the city of St. Peters, the same pit bulls were involved in another unprovoked attack last year. The owners have until February 4th to complete requirements to get their dogs back. That includes putting up a 6-foot fence. Moving on to sports, tonight the Blues play the Stars on the road at 7 o'clock. SLU takes on St. Bonaventure today at 4:30. Coming up tomorrow, good day to stay inside. Mizzou plays Oklahoma. Illinois will be facing Purdue. 13 degrees now coming up on 8:05. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look pretty good on the roads. MoDOT was reporting an accident on the ramp from westbound 6440 to southbound Lindbergh for a while, but I'm not seeing a backup there, so it may be all right. And northbound 270, a little bit slow there on either side of 6440. But other than that, we're fine. We look good on 55. People are staying home, at least so far today. And it's 10 degrees, so who can blame them? 70 eastbound looking good, 64 in good shape, quiet on the Illinois side. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Liu. Yes, Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We continue to have a winter storm warning in effect, but not until Saturday night into late Sunday. Today is a dry day. A mix of clouds and sunshine, windy, and boy, it's cold out the door. It's cold all day long. 14 for the high. Tonight, clouds take over. It's dry tonight and very cold. 4 on Saturday. Periods of snow, especially developing as we go through the afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
8:06 is the time right now, 13 degrees. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros.
I just got to tell you, Scott Bessent has been one of my favorite cabinet members for Donald Trump so far. Over in Davos, calling out Gavin Newsom as he made a rear end of himself, running around trying to undermine U.S. policy at this World Economic Forum. Welcome back into the show. We got lots to get to, including Dave Murray at the bottom of the hour with more on the weather that's moving in. But right now we've got Joe Lavorgna on the phone. He is a counselor to Secretary Scott Bessent. And Joe, welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks so much for having me.
I love the way Bessent approaches his job. I know he holds several titles, right? Because isn't he temporarily the director of the IRS as well?
Yes, he's the head of the IRS. I think it's to my understanding, it's basically a full-time job, but he has those two roles. So I don't know how temporary it is. He works pretty hard, but you are correct. He's doing a lot for the administration.
Well, I heard
the American people.
He is, and I heard him yesterday. You know, a lot of people are interested in the effort by the president discussing restricting big companies from buying up homes the way they've been doing it. I heard him give a little better explainer yesterday, maybe about how that would work. Like maybe it would put a limit on the number of homes they could buy. Do you have any more details on that?
No more details on it, but it's important because prior to the great financial crisis, these large companies just couldn't come in and buy massive swaths of properties, and since then they've been able to do it. And what that does is it makes them the marginal buyer on steroids, and it takes up all this existing inventory and meaningfully raises prices. And because they're these large entities, they've got tremendous tax benefits that disincentivize or the individual investor can't compete with, and this levels the playing field in a way that will help lower housing costs, which have risen significantly, especially under the prior administration, in large part because of record high inflation.
One of the other things Trump has mentioned he wants to do is put a cap on interest rates for credit card companies, and there's been some mixed reviews on that. What's your take on that? Is there any sort of an update that you know of on that effort?
Well, there's still discussions, ongoing, and the president has a very American worker approach, populist approach for the everyday man and woman, and it's for 1 year and would be structured in a way that would allow people some interest rate relief. And I think the president's moving in the right direction on these things. I'm not sure if it'll need congressional legislation, but it's one of those ideas that shows the president is, one, thinking outside the box, and two, figuring out ways he can lower people's borrowing costs, which gives them a little bit of ease from what should be a transition of what was very government-led inflationary growth under the prior administration to what appears now to be very strong growth that we're running. If you look at the latest numbers for the fourth quarter, we could be up at over 5%, which is remarkable given the shutdown. That would imply private sector growth in the last 3 quarters, or the first full 3 quarters President Trump was in office, of about 5%. That gets followed by a pickup in jobs and strong wages. You have low borrowing costs, and the president is going to be addressing this issue of affordability head on and really improve people's living standards.
It makes a huge difference. So we're talking to Joe Lavorgna from the Secretary of the Treasury Department, I should say, works for Scott Bessent, but you're also an economist. You come back to this from the private sector, and you served in the first Trump administration as chief economist for the National Economic Council. What is that? What better way can the administration address that going forward? I hear this affordability argument all the time. It's clearly what the Democrats plan to run on here in the midterms. But every day, it strikes me, the president or somebody needs to be out there hammering home the fantastic economic numbers that you just mentioned to make people realize you can't turn around a train overnight. I mean, there's a lot to fix from Joe Biden.
Well, that's exactly right. And, coming on your show, and again, thank you for having me and working hard and getting the message out as many outlets as we possibly can. The secretary certainly is doing his part to sell the president's vision and economic policies. You're right. The economy is doing well. That needs to be marketed. But the president, essentially, the affordability problem came because of the prior administration, and the president has said he was going to fix it. We have seen the inflation rate keep areas within inflation have slowed, especially food prices in some areas have slowed dramatically. Energy in particular, gasoline prices are down close to a 4.5, nearly 5-year low. We are seeing rental costs, leading indicators of rents come down. That's partly the result of the president's securing of the border, removing a lot of illegal aliens that were artificially pushing up the cost of housing. That's moving by the wayside. So if we look out into 26, you can make a very compelling case. And the Federal Reserve itself and many other private forecasters do expect the inflation rate to slow. That's happening at the same time you've got these big gains in growth, the president pushing through that one big beautiful bill, the no tax on tips and overtime, reduced taxes on Social Security recipients. Those factors are then going to raise after-tax wages, so your take-home pay effectively, or your after-tax pay, your disposable income will naturally rise as your inflation rate's declining, so that your real wages after inflation are expanding. And they've actually expanded last year at a very, very fast rate. We've marketed that and told people that. Unfortunately, it didn't necessarily get broadcast fully in the press, but over time it's going to be impossible. It's going to be impossible to ignore the economic data that we're seeing, which is just truly booming, and it's going to really be felt for everyday Americans, where the president really wants to focus his energies and attention.
Trump has been very open with his frustration toward Jay Powell and the future of the Fed, what's been happening with interest rates. Could Secretary Bessent move over to that role? What would you like to see as far as the future of the Fed?
Secretary Bessent has said many times he loves his Treasury job, and I believe him. And he's given the president some excellent candidates to choose from, and the president will have to make that decision. The frustration with the Fed is, I think, several-fold, but the most important is that for the better part of the last year and a half, the Fed has said its policy rate is restrictive, or interest rates are too high relative to where they, meaning the consensus of board members, see the neutral rate, and rates have had to come down. And then you overlay that with the Fed having cut rates 50 basis points just before the 2024 election, which they had never done before in their history, cut rates that aggressively right before an election. And you can understand the president's frustration. We do think, because we're entering a disinflationary boom, really strong GDP growth, which is going to show up in more jobs, faster wages, and importantly, lower inflation rates, that will allow the Fed to continue to cut interest rates. So I'm optimistic that rates will come down, but certainly we understand the president's frustrations.
Absolutely. Joe Lavorgna, keep up the great work, and we appreciate your time this morning on behalf of the Treasury Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
You bet. Great to get him on here this morning, get a little insight into what's going on at their Treasury. They got a great argument. They just got to get it through the noise of the mainstream media to the voters.
Which is very hard to do.
Very, very hard to do, right? Because you've got a bunch of people that are reading misleading headlines this morning that you read earlier about ICE using a 5-year-old as bait in Minneapolis, which is completely a lie. And there are going to be people walking around at your workplace today who think that's the God's honest truth. Confront them on it and tell them the kid's dad ran away and ICE was kind of left. They could have left him standing in the street, I guess, but they didn't. They took care of him. It's just silly season out there when it comes to the mainstream media. They're willing to say or do anything to try to damage this administration, for sure. All right, coming up, we got Dave Murray, bottom of the hour. We'll do our Queen of Hearts drawing. Also, Noemi Padilla is going to join us next. She used to work as an abortion clinic manager. These days, she has seen the light, and she will be at the March for Life this weekend. We're going to talk to her next.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, we look great. There's just not a lot happening. We've got really light traffic. I've got to go to the grocery store, and I know people all went yesterday, so I'm hoping there's something left. But if you are headed out to go to the grocery store or anything else, eastbound 70 is in great shape. No delays on 64. Northbound 270 looks good. Southbound was a little slow at 64, but that's the worst of it. We look great on the Illinois side in general and on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
I really, really hope for your sake and for mine that the windows you have on your home are working like they should. The front door is working like it should, because that's very important when it comes to keeping the heat that you're paying for to make sure your home is nice and cozy with this crazy cold weather we have right now, to make sure it's comfortable, because we all will be probably cooped up inside our homes this weekend. And if you don't, what you need to do is just call my friends over there at Lakeside Renovation and Design. But to make things even easier, you can go to windowsbylakeside.com, because they have everything laid out, all the work that they do, all the different options that they have. They use these Infinity from Marvin windows, which really are a game changer. It's because they're made from fiberglass. They're 8 times stronger than the vinyl windows that I'm assuming are on your home right now. So you're going to make sure you're having a product on your home that is going to last. Don't fall for the gimmicky offers you hear sometimes, right? And you invest in these new windows and then they don't end up lasting. Lakeside has been doing this here in the St. Louis area for close to 30 years. Go read some of the hundreds of 5-star reviews that they have. This is a company that backs up their work. They have all in-house staff, which I really appreciate, and they're going to pair you up with one of their in-house designers, and they're going to walk you through this whole process and do all the nitty-gritty details that a lot of us don't like to do. They'll handle all of that for you. Again, this is Lakeside Renovation and Design. Go to windowsbylakeside.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So the snow that we're getting is going to move through here, and then it's going to continue east, and it's going to move up the eastern seaboard, and I'm afraid it's going to have some impact on the March for Life, which is happening in Washington. My guess is because of the passion of the people that show up for that, you're still going to get a good turnout. But I hate that that's happening for them this weekend, but it is happening. A lot of great, passionate people are going to be up there talking about what's going on in this country. Right now, we're joined by Noemi Padilla, who used to work in the abortion industry, and this weekend is going to be up there for the March for Life. And Noemi, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good morning. Welcome. I mean, sorry, you're saying welcome to me. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. I hear some noise in the background. Are you already in DC?
Oh yes, we all arrived into DC last night. Yes, we're in the lobby getting geared up and ready to head over to the march. We just had a really good breakfast because we're ready to go today. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet you are. Tell us your story, Noemi. How did you arrive at that where you are now compared to what you were doing at some point in the past?
You know, I am a former New Yorker. I ran an abortion clinic in the state of Florida in Tampa Bay. I did that for 4 years, and you know, I'm a nurse, so those were the worst 4 years of my nursing life ever. And halfway through, I had this moment with we specialize in second trimester abortions, and I had a woman who had a very much wanted pregnancy, and we aborted her because there was a misdiagnosis at one of the local hospitals. Oh. And that was where, after that, I didn't fight enough. I didn't follow my instincts, and it changed everything for me. But I had hired a bunch of young ladies, and I needed for them to be able to leave the industry as well. So I went ahead and said, hey, let's do this. Let's talk to those crazy people on the sidewalk and see what they're about. What's this lady at? And then there were none, Abby Johnson, about. And so they started quitting, and they started connecting with the ministry. Unbeknownst to me, they were all praying. Like the day that I quit, I have to tell you, Mark, when I called the hotline, they knew, and the first words were, is this Noemi from Florida? Because we have been praying for you for 4 years.
Wow.
And I just knew. That was like my first sign. God said, I got you. You're going to be okay.
It's we've heard these stories, and obviously we've had Abby on before talking about this situation because her story is similar, right? To realize really what's going on inside of there. When you see states like Missouri, now first of all, we're all celebrating that Roe v. Wade got overturned.
Absolutely, amen.
But then you've got states like Missouri and others where, we had outside money poured in here. They lied about the situation. They managed to get abortion ensconced into our state constitution up until basically the due date, which is frightening to me in many ways. What's your reaction to that?
It is, first of all, it is horrendous. But I want to say this has already been happening this entire time. Now these states are just more blatant about it. Because I'm going to tell you, we broke the law. I broke the law several times. We went so much further than just the cutoff in Florida at that time. It was about the money. And if I can empower, I'm doing air quotes, if I can empower a woman who was 28 weeks pregnant, 29 weeks pregnant, and I could charge her another $5,000 for the special service, we did it. So it's been happening all along. Now they're just they feel empowered that they can go ahead and just be straightforward about it.
I mean,
it's not new.
You hear the horror stories, and you just talked about some where you would do things that you really shouldn't be doing because it was about making money, which is what we know Planned Parenthood does, despite people denying that. But I mean, some of these other horror stories about the pressure on these women to have an abortion, to go through with it, not showing them ultrasound, does that all happen?
Absolutely. So I had 100% abortion record. No one that encountered me at my clinic did not have an abortion. And so how was I that good? Because I would assess really quickly, see where they were lacking in, and I would sell that abortion so miraculously well at that point, And yes, we would falsify records. We would coerce them. I would tell them, listen, you can't pay for the 4 kids you have now to go to school or feed them. How are you going to pay for number 5? If it was a twin pregnancy, I would say, listen, you came here for 1 and now there's 2. Come on, let's hurry up and do this. Yeah, horrendous, my behavior back then.
Yeah.
And it was about the money. It was all about we had an ongoing joke because after 12 abortions, we would buy pizza for the staff. Like that was just a regular on any given day. And we would get pizzas most times from Little Caesars. At that point, a pizza pie was like $5.99 for a pizza pie, right?
Right.
So let's do the math. The price of a life is less than $1. Because if you take that slice of that pizza pie that has 8 slices and you divide it by the 12 babies that we just killed, that was the price of a life. That was the dollar net worth of a life.
Tell us about your work these days as a client advocate.
It is such a blessing. It was a long road coming because, before I can help others, I had to allow myself to be helped, right? And so through therapy and redemptive behavior with God, acknowledging that he's got my back, acknowledging that his love is unconditional and that he's forgiven me, I can now work as a liaison with And Then There Were None. And the quitters that are coming out of the industry, I can say, listen, it's one thing that we have a therapist on staff and we have all these case advocates and case managers. But, hey, here's a former quitter. And I know exactly what you're feeling, and I can hold your hand through it. And it is, I hold this title more proudly than I do my nursing degree. And for a long time, it was all about my nursing. And now it's just about what I can do for the future quitters of the world.
If people want to find out about that organization, where can they go, Noemi?
Abortionworker.com. You go in there and we have all the deets and all the information.
Well, I would direct people to do that, and we'll keep you in our prayers for a safe and comfortable weekend despite the weather that's about to hit D.C.
Oh, we're ready. We're geared up. We've got the coats, we've got the hats, and you know what? Once the adrenaline gets pumping, and we're walking with God's grace, so He's got us. He's got a hedge of protection and a hedge of warmth over us. We're ready.
All right.
We are so ready.
Noemi Padilla, thank you so much for your story this morning.
Thank you for having me. You have a blessed day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Boy, so glad we got her on. What a powerful story of redemption for her.
You hear those stories are happening and no one wants to believe that abortion clinics are actually doing those gruesome things. There you have
for
it.
Profit.
Firsthand knowledge of it happening.
Yeah. All right. Coming up, the man, the myth, the legend, Dave Murray. We're going to get him on the air and find out how much snow he's expecting. Stay tuned.
It looks like winter finally has arrived. It's really nice weather we were getting. Been nice that we kept it all the way through, but it's time for your furnaces to start breaking. If it happens to you, please give me a call, and we'll get somebody right out there and get your heat real fast. If you choose, it makes more sense to replace your furnace. We can do that next day. So if you need service, give me a call. Bart Inman. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number. 314-293-2600. Again, Missouri and Illinois. Only one number. 314-293-2600. Or go online at bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
All right, here's my friend Gloria Lou. I got to see her yesterday. She's such a great human being, and she's my realtor. And I worked with her a year and a half ago to sell my home, our home of 25 years. That's a big step. If you're about to venture into that because you see interest rates dropping, call Gloria and have the conversation. 314-325-6888. You're going to appreciate her as much as we did. You're going to love working with her because she's the only one in town that I know of who is promising a couple of things in writing for you. Your home sold, or she buys it, or she'll tell you that she'll guarantee in writing to sell your home for 100% of market value, or she will pay you the difference. Take that to the bank. If you've got questions about how it works, ask her. But you need to have the conversation and make Gloria Lou your realtor as well. Call her at 314-325-6888. Tell her Mark sent you, or go to gloriahasthebuyers.com.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. A new analysis says that the typical American family earns far too little to comfortably afford childcare. The Department of Health and Human Services considers childcare affordable when households spend no more than 7% of their total annual income on such services. By that measure, households need income of nearly $403,000 per year to cover the cost of care for 2 children. While appearing at the World Economic Forum event in Davos, Elon Musk predicted that robots will eventually outnumber humans. Bloomberg Billionaires Index says that Musk is the world's richest person with a fortune valued at $677 billion. General Motors says it plans to shift production of a Buick SUV from China to Kansas for vehicles sold in the U.S. The move comes as automakers face stiff tariffs on vehicle imports and as President Trump presses companies to invest in domestic manufacturing. Futures are slightly lower. Thursday, the Dow Industrials gained 306, the NASDAQ up 211. That's Your Money Now.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, it has been great. We've just got light traffic, and that continues to be the case eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44. It's the combination of a Friday morning, which generally has lighter volume, and the possibility of snow. So put that together, and that's what we get. Northbound 55 is in great shape and no problems on the bridges downtown or on the Illinois side in general. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So I told you I was headed out to Lit Cigar Lounge the other night, met my friends Jim and Tom out there, and we hung out for a while. And, of course, I'm always running into people there that say they've heard me talking about it on the radio. Fantastic. My buddy Tom, who'd never been there before, was so impressed. It's just a comfortable, luxurious but comfortable environment. It really is. You're going to love Lit. They've got a fantastic ventilation system out there because, you know, my friends who were with me did not smoke a cigar, but they're perfectly comfortable in there, having some of the great bourbon, some of the old fashioned that they craft, and it's just a great drink. They've got whiskey, they've got beer, whatever you're looking for at a fully stocked, great bar. Of course, if you want a cigar, the best hand-rolled cigars from around the world. But they've got live music. It's just a gathering place is what it is. If you're hungry, you can get on the app and order food from Napoli Brothers down the way there at the District in Chesterfield, and they'll deliver the food right to you at Lit. It's great. I've done that myself. You're going to love this place. It's family owned. Be sure and say hi to Andrew and everyone when you walk in the door, because you're going to be like a member of the family down there. But it's perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Check them out online. They're always having events and specials. Go to litstl.com.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
You know, there's a certain way we do things around here, the Grasser way.
The Grasser way?
We don't cut corners and we don't take shortcuts. Not on the little stuff and not on the big stuff.
We do the big stuff.
That's right. Whole home generators that kick on the moment the grid gives up. Lights stay on, heat stays on, your family stays safe, so your house stays warm.
And your ice cream stays frozen.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
One of the biggest gifts you can give your family is peace of mind. That's why I trust and recommend Civia Law. They've helped so many families, including mine, right here in our community with estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and elder law issues. I've seen how stressful it can be when a loved one passes without a plan. Families are left confused, sometimes tied up in probate court, and it can cost so much in time and money. But with Civia Law, you don't have to worry about that. They'll walk you through everything and even deliver your completed documents in just 2 weeks from your first appointment. And here's something special just for you. Mention the Annie Fry Show, and the first 10 listeners right now will get a free strategy session. That's a $300 value. 833-995-WILL. Just be sure to mention the Annie Fry Show when you call. Civia Law has 7 convenient locations across Illinois and Missouri, including in Edwardsville, Swansea, and Creve Coeur. Secure your legacy and protect the people you love. Call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL, or visit civialaw.com.
It's 2026. Time to get your home zero resified. 3 rooms of carpet clean, starting at just $119, plus a free hallway and 15% off regularly priced services when you mention 97.1 FM Talk. It's ZeroResSTL.com.
From Troy, Missouri to Troy, Illinois. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Guns N' Hoses Queen of Hearts, benefiting the St. Louis Backstoppers.
All right, congratulations to the winner. The Queen of Hearts raffle this week wins $25. It was card number 4 of diamonds is what it was from slot number 42. Congratulations to the winner. They won $25 for their $5 bet. All the money, if somebody draws the Queen of Hearts, the $10,600 jackpot gets split. You get half of it, and of course, the folks at Guns N' Hoses get the other half. It all benefits Backstoppers, so go to stlgunsandhoses.com and buy your tickets today. All right, time to get to the man of the hour, 97.1 Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Dave, good morning.
Hello there.
Hey, it's great to have you on this morning, my friend, because people around here going a little crazy in this weather forecast.
No, they're going a lot crazy.
and as I keep reading the stuff that you're putting out, at least as of late last night, you still had not put any snow totals in.
Right. And in fact, I just sent another update out to Facebook and also to you guys. And I'm still not putting numbers on it because it's a dumb thing to do right now. And I can't drive that home enough. The storm system is coming over the northern Baja right now. And it's starting to interact with the southern Rockies. It will spit out over the Texas Panhandle and try to pull itself back together again. Because what happens in the Rockies, it gets all sheared apart. The mountains rip it apart. And then it has to pull its energy back together again. Once it gets to that point, that's when we can really put reliable numbers. I know there's numbers out there. Those numbers are just computer generated or even AI generated now. I don't forecast like that. That's not a forecast. It's just a guidance. And if you're going to put all your eggs into a model, well, that's up to you. And it's just not the way a forecast is done. It's all backwards. And so I will probably start putting some numbers on this thing and laying it out as we get into the early afternoon, because I think at that point, this storm will have pulled together. I'll have a good idea of exactly where it's pulling together. And that means a lot because that kind of tells the track. And a little difference of 25 miles, as little as 25 miles in the location of the formation of that storm, could mean a world of difference in snow accumulations.
Yeah, so you say, okay, we will have accumulation. The question is how much accumulation we'll have. Okay.
Exactly. Right. And that's why a winter storm warning is in effect through Sunday. Cold weather advisory. Let's talk about the cold really quick.
Yeah.
Friday, today, 14 for the high. We're like 9-10 degrees right now. The wind chill's -10. It's brutal outside. Tonight, 4 degrees. Saturday, 14 degrees. Saturday night, 9 degrees. And Sunday, 15 degrees. So we got the cold air. There's no question about that. A lot of times when we deal with these southwest storms, it's like, oh, how strong is the cold air going to be? Well, this time it's really strong. So let's advance. There's no snow today. There's no snow tonight. So we're fine. Got plenty of time to get your toilet paper, your eggs, and your bread and all that stuff. If you haven't already, because I think the shelves have been wiped out. So Saturday during the day, this snow that will be coming up from the southwest will have to fight this bone dry atmosphere, and it's really dry. That's going to take a long time to saturate all layers in the atmosphere. And once that's saturated, then the snow will start to reach the ground. Takes a long time. I don't think we see a lot during the bulk of the day on Saturday. It kind of unfolds. The main event is going to be fairly quickly, let's say, fairly early in the evening on Saturday through Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So that's the main window of accumulating snow. I think it will be heavy at times. The only thing I've added to the forecast, I'm a little concerned that some sleet may get involved in this thing. That will tend to keep numbers down a little bit. I'm just kind of putting my toes in the water on the sleet aspect right now. I do think there'll be sleet over southern Missouri and southern Illinois. I'm not sure it works its way up into St. Louis. And then once we get to about noontime on Sunday, the accumulating snow should be just about tapering off. But I think there'll be some light snow and flurries around much of the day on Sunday. A reinforcement of the cold air comes in on Wednesday. So whatever snow we get is going to hang around through next week.
Yeah, I know probably treatment is not your profession, but this is probably going to
dealt with it a long time.
Well, it's probably going to present a challenge for them because the temperature's so cold. Often this treatment they put down won't work below certain temperatures, right? For the ice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now the good news about this storm is you can pre-treat because we don't have rain involved in this at all. So. And I think some of the roads have already been pre-treated,
right?
But it is, you get down below 15 degrees, 12 degrees, that becomes a bit of a challenge. The good news is that it's a weekend event. And the good news is this has been on the table for several days. So I think a lot of folks are saying, you know what, let me just hunker in.
What's funny you say that because KSTK has an article saying why you're better off not salting your driveway ahead of the storm.
Now, see, I disagree with that 100%. Now, if we were going to get several hours of rain beforehand,
that would make sense.
I wouldn't do it. Do it. But we're so cold that why not? Why not help it out?
Yeah.
What's the reasoning? That's what I would like to know.
It's a good point. Yeah, we keep waiting because we've got an event here Saturday night. The Jimmy Fallon concert he's a comedian. He's in town from Fox.
Oh, yeah.
And he's supposed to be at the factory in Chesterfield. And we keep checking with him. There's no indication yet that they've made any modification to his appearance. So
have Jimmy call me.
Yeah, I will. I will.
We need to talk about that. The other thing is that this is just not for us. This goes from Texas. It goes down to the Gulf Coast. It goes into the Tennessee Valley, the Ohio Valley, and works its way to the Mid-Atlantic region and eventually the Northeast. This is affecting a lot of the nation. Air travel is already a mess because airlines are starting to move planes around. They want to get them out of the path. And so if you're traveling by plane, you're going to have some problems, especially if you're going through Dallas and Atlanta.
Yeah. For sure. Well, so you think by noontime roughly today, you're going to have a little revised forecast out?
I don't think the gut of it is going to change much other than we'll probably start to put some numbers on it. I'll try to lay it out. I do think, again, as far as Saturday is concerned, during the day, I'll be amazed if we get more than an inch of snow.
Wow.
On Saturday during the day.
You're right.
Now people are going, oh, we're only going to get an inch. No, the main event is Saturday night and into Sunday morning.
Got it.
That's the accumulated snow.
Right church time. A lot of churches will have to revise their plans.
They'll closed or remote on Sunday morning potentially.
Yeah, have to Zoom. Have to Zoom.
That's right. Dave, thanks for your time, my friend. We'll be listening all afternoon. Thank you.
All righty, great.
We'll see you later. Dave Murray, chief meteorologist there, playing it on the conservative side with these forecasts, because I told you I played the bite earlier from Matt Chambers, and they're thinking 12 plus inches in some places, but it's a computer model.
Yeah.
Now I'm not dissing Chambers. I mean, I know he's the real deal meteorologist too. He didn't go to broadcast school to become a meteorologist. He's got a geology degree and something else in meteorology.
Very
from
smart guy.
University of Missouri. He's on top of it. But a lot of these are like you see him showing the Euro model and the U.S. model, and the Euro model was showing more snow than the U.S. model at first, and now all these are computer generated projections on what that snowfall might be, and Dave just doesn't like to play that game. So we'll see later this afternoon how that turns out. I don't know. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Looking good on the roads at this hour. It's cold, but we've got light volume, so it's a trade-off. And we do look good, and that's Missouri and Illinois sides both. So really no issues at this hour as far as the roads go. 55 is in good shape. We look good from Jeffco all the way up through North County, and looking good from out west into downtown. Quiet on the Illinois side as well. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Every now and then you'll hear somebody say, oh, I wish I would have learned that in school. Why do they not teach us that? And you know what? That totally applies to your retirement money, because we know to save. We understand that. But then when you get closer to retirement, you start thinking, okay, well, wait a minute. Nobody taught me how to make sure this is enough money for me to retire. How do I handle taxes in retirement? How do I handle Social Security? Well, this is why financial and tax architects are so great. Well, of course, they've helped people throughout St. Louis. But I like their idea, which is let's hold a class and show people a little bit about how retirement money works. And it's a 2.5-hour class. It's free. But it also shows you how financial and tax architects work. So go to a class and kind of feel better about retirement just by getting a handle on the finances. Go to F as in Frank, FTA-RIA.com to register, FTA-RIA.com, and take it from there.
Are you a local nonprofit making a difference? Want help spreading the word? We want to hear from you. 97.1 FM Talk in Action highlights the great work being done in our community. Share your mission at 971talk.com/talkinaction.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the mega stores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back. This is my favorite part of this song coming up here. So I wanted to play it. Wait for it.
Look at this. Hey, man, that suit is you. Woo-wee. You'll get some leg tonight for sure. Tell us how you do. Come on, Dave. Give me a break. Hey, one break.
All right, that's what I wanted to say to Dave Murray. Come on, Dave. Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me some snow totals. But he wasn't prepared to do that there, so we did not get our break from Dave Murray in terms of numbers. He claims later today, around noon, a little after, he'll put out a revised forecast and tell you how many inches he thinks you're going to get. He did say accumulating snow. So there you have it.
It's coming. Get ready.
Yeah, it's. I had an aunt reach out to me from. She lives in Dayton, Ohio, and she's telling me to be safe this weekend. And I'm looking at their forecast in Southern Ohio, and they're looking at 12 plus inches in some places around Cincinnati.
Seems terrible.
So, if that holds, that's significant snow as well.
I did have Heidi Harris reach out to me saying stay safe, and I don't feel as
From
bad
warm
because
Vegas?
she's in Vegas, and I don't know what the temperature is there, but probably not 13 degrees.
Yeah, I don't know if they're getting any of this, if they're being affected by this weather or not. I don't think so. I think it's not forming until it gets further east from there. Hey, I wanted to play something for you I hadn't gotten to yet. I don't really do the thing that Reardon does with a soundbite of the day, but there was some important sound that happened with yesterday in that Jack Smith hearing. If you weren't listening to it, Darrell Issa had some great stuff. I mean, he really just nailed this guy on. You were trying to charge the president of the United States for his belief. His stated belief was that there was wrongdoing in that election. He's entitled to have that belief without being accused of trying to overturn the election. Barack Obama's the one that tried to overturn an election. Why is nobody going after him? But in this case, Smith didn't have a good answer for that. Here's what we do know. We know the January 6th committee was feeding him specific information, but not all of it. Like they deleted 900 interviews that didn't fit their narrative, and they sent over to him apparently the stuff that did fit their narrative because they wanted Donald Trump to be prosecuted. Now, the sweet irony of this is that Harriet Hageman, who's doing the questioning here, replaced the traitorous Liz Cheney in Congress, who was a member of the J6 committee. So I wanted to play this bite. It's kind of long, but I think it's important to hear the questions that she's asking this guy, and she finally gets him to admit something that could be very, very important. So listen to this.
The committee actually used selective clips from these videos and transcripts during their hearings, and yet by destroying this evidence, they have denied Congress and the public the ability to obtain their full content and context. They created their narrative by selective use of the evidence before them. So how very convenient. Did you or your team receive any of those witness transcripts or video recordings of transcribed interviews from the select committee that were not released to the public?
What I can tell you is that I requested J.P. Cooney to contact the select committee.
Do you know if you received any of the evidence or testimony that the J6 committee eventually destroyed?
I don't have any information that the J6 committee.
You don't know one way or the other as you sit here today?
No, what I'm telling you is that I requested all the information we could get from the January 6th.
Has all of the information that you requested been preserved? All of the information from the J6 committee, has that been preserved?
The information that we requested and received We reviewed it. It was
Has it
part of
been
our
preserved?
file. Yes.
Has it been preserved? Yes. So what we learned in that little exchange is that some evidence that was later destroyed by the J6 committee apparently did get what's the matter, Ethan? Shaking his head at me.
I'm giving you the wrong signals
cues.
all over the place
So
here.
that's okay. So some of the evidence that the J6 committee deleted had already been forwarded over to Jack Smith's office, which means hopefully somebody can still find that stuff at the DOJ if it's there, as evidence of some of the stuff they didn't want to be considered in this hearing. They cherry-picked interviews that fit their narrative and presented that as a completely unbiased, bipartisan committee looking into what happened on January 6th. We all know that's not the case. And Jack Smith, for all of his arrogant, highfalutin attitude yesterday about if he would do the same thing today and it didn't matter to him what the president's politics were, horse crap. He started subpoenaing phone records from McCarthy, the House Speaker, 19 days after he took office, and demanded them all the way back to January 6th. So before he was Speaker of the House, to see if he had had any phone calls or whatever with the president as he was getting ready to take over that position. It was obnoxious. It was outrageous what they uncovered yesterday, and the mainstream media has not given it nearly the coverage or credibility that it deserved. There's no doubt about that. All right, that's going to do it for us. Be safe, ladies and gentlemen.
And we'll update everyone on the Jimmy Fallon situation.
We
will.
As
of now, the show will go on.
It's true. It's winter in the middle of America. Be safe out there. Bundle up. We'll see you here Monday morning regardless of what happens. Have a great weekend.